welcome to another episode of Reseller Evolution. I'm Scott.
And I'm Carl.
And how's it going, Carl?
Good. How are you doing?
I am good. I'm great.
Excellent.
I am supercalifragilisticexpialidocious. I don't know.
Pretty good. I can't even say that word.
Yeah, supercalifragilisticexpialidocious. Yeah.
So we're on episode 57.
We are.
Yep, just putting it out there as normal.
Yeah. Wow.
So how's your week?
57.
Anything exciting happened?
Well, I might have touched a bit about this on the show, but earlier and just before the show, I think I mentioned it slightly to you, but I didn't get into detail. And I bought a bunch of books. I paid $500 for a small library of books. It's probably about a third of what I got my last time. So we're talking around 1,000 books. So pretty happy with that. Got to go through it. They're still in my truck. I still got to go back.
Oh, they must be cold by now.
Well, they are cold, but here's what we did. We had a vendor day on Monday, so I took a lot of stuff out of the booth. I shouldn't say that. I took a few things out of the booth, but I put a lot of stuff from the downstairs booth and jammed it up in the two upstairs booths. So my downstairs booth is fairly empty. And I did that purposely to bring in a bunch of books because books sell, right? So I want to have the downstairs, a big section of books down there. And I'm going to kind of dilute the books upstairs into, I shouldn't say dilute, that's kind of a wrong word, but I'm going to change it up. So like some of my magazine stuff, that's pulp culture-ish, like Sports Illustrated magazines, wrestling, that kind of stuff will stay upstairs, but all my books, my real books, will come downstairs. So gonna have a big bunch of that. So I'm like, why unload it when after the show today we're gonna go take them to the booth and go through them. Anything that's really good is gonna go online, obviously, so I'll just be bringing those back home, and everything else is either gonna go in the booth or donated. So, and there's going to be lots of crap in there too. There always is. But, you know, if I can find $10 or 10 books at $50 a piece, which I think is going to be a no-brainer, you know, there's $500. So,
That'd be great.
Kind of how I'm looking at it.
I also bought books. I bought 11 books for $300.
For $300?
Yeah. Plus auction costs and GST.
Well, what kind of books were these?
Dungeons and Dragons.
Oh, wow. $300, eh? Somebody else wanted them too.
Oh, yeah. They were upset too.
Wow.
Yeah, and it also included a whole bunch of Dragon magazines. So 15 or 16 Dragon magazines.
Which are just going to be bonus. And
some of the books are worth $100, so.
Yeah.
And the magazines are worth probably 10 to 15 each.
Okay. And how many magazines?
They're about 14 or something like that.
Yeah.
And all the books are in great condition. That's a big difference too.
Yep.
And there could I haven't even looked yet, but there could be some earlier editions. I assume they weren't and valued it at that. So, but let me put it this way. It was at the end of the auction. I love D&D and there's no way I went at the end of the auction.
You're going to overpay if you have
I just kept my hand up. It didn't matter.
Yeah.
I'm very happy. Because it's like, I love that stuff. I love that D&D.
Is there anything in there that could be a surprise, or did you look them up already?
I already know what they are.
Okay.
They're classical Dungeons and Dragons, all great condition. Like I said, they could, if there's first, like the special, like each of the books, there's first editions and stuff like that. So I just assumed they weren't when I valued them. And but it didn't matter. This is one of the cases like I want this.
No.
Yeah.
But I meant on the other side, like you know, sometimes you get those trade lots, and all of a sudden there's like, wow, I didn't expect this in here. You know what I mean?
No, I don't think so.
Okay,
I don't think so. Because like I said, I value, like if I'm spending that kind of money, at wholesale, I kind of want to know what I'm going to get, right? Don't get me wrong, I would have preferred to have paid like $150.
But I'm assuming with just the condition and the Dungeon and Dragons alone, like I wouldn't even have to look them up, and I think I'm going to be in there for that price. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it was pushing it though, because like when you add I think it's 5% buyer's premium, which is really low,
Yeah.
plus the GST. Now we're looking at 360. Not a lot of room
Yeah.
there.
No, I guess it's getting pretty close. But
Yeah,
you got the Dragon magazines that are gonna cut that in half.
they'll cut that in half. And like I said, at that point of the day, so me and this other guy, like they started it really like at first I was like, oh man, I hope they don't do by choice lot on these freaking books, but they didn't. They did the whole shelf with the Dragon magazines. And there's a guy next to me, a younger guy, and they started the auction at $65. And it's like, or $50 or something. It's like, there's no way it's going to be even close to that, right? One book is worth that.
Yeah.
And so we're just going back and forth. And eventually we both went, yep, 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 yep. And that can really go quick, eh?
Yeah.
But then
Yeah.
it got to the 300, and the other guy's like, oh, and he just turned around and left immediately. Because he's probably the same thing, right? He's just like, I'm getting these freaking books. It's like, freak, this guy's ruining my day. But I was like, no, I want this shit.
But imagine if, like, and this is the way I look at it, and I've talked about auction experiences in the past.
Yeah.
What if that guy wasn't there? What, you would have got him for
Oh,
$50?
I know, it would have been amazing.
There's always one other freaking guy in there.
I know.
Hey?
But honestly, with the Dungeons and Dragons, I was pretty sure there would be another guy. And if it wasn't
Yeah,
that
but
guy, it could have easily beat someone else there who just didn't bid
I don't
because
know,
they
Brian.
saw us going back and forth, right?
I,
Like if I'm wanting to bid and I see two other guys going at it, I won't bid until they're done.
I'm getting the auctioneer's attention. I want into.
But
If it's something
why?
if it's something I really want.
Well, it's not like I'm not gonna get, like, if the two other guys go, right, and one of them stops, it's not like the auctioneer's not gonna notice me coming in with a late bid.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm hammering it hard, bud. If I want
So,
it,
so you have three people like ding, ding, ding,
yep.
ding, 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 ding. Really?
Well,
Okay.
if three people are really at it, if I have my hand up, he might just start pointing to the other two, and then come back to me once one of them drop out. But I'm still putting my hand up. I will because I think I talked about this before, where the auctioneer called me out saying, because there was one time I was sitting down. He goes, "Out of all the times you've been here, I don't think I've ever seen you sit down once." Did I ever tell you that story?
No, no.
Okay, like just calls me out in front of everybody, like midway through the auction. Scott, are you sitting down? I think of all the times I've seen you, this is the first time I saw you sit down. I'm like, I sat down before. Quit giving my secrets away. Quit exposing me to everyone else. Not really, but I'm like, I
Yeah.
tried to lay low, man. I tried to fly under the
Oh,
radar.
are yours that big? Because like at ours, I recognize all the regulars. There's no
Oh, there's a
hiding
lot of
there.
regulars for sure, but there's
Yeah.
also people that are new that I haven't seen, right?
Right. But you
So I
can
think
always
what
tell the
happens is
professionals because they're all standing around. They don't sit down. No, honestly, I'm not even
true,
kidding.
I guess. It's the what happens is, like, there's a lot of antiques, there's a lot of collectors involved. So people that might not know of the auction, but they know of the collector, will come out. And those usually people, they're usually about 50% of the people I recognize, and 50% I don't. It's kind of that. There's probably 200 to 300 people on average at the
Oh
auctions.
wow, 200 to 300.
Yeah.
That's a
Uh,
lot.
just after COVID, but it's starting to build right up now, right? So, even the auctioneer says, "I'm glad to see some faces I haven't seen in a long time." He'll say that kind of stuff now and then, and you know, um, I mean, COVID's been over for a while, so I would say the last, I don't know, 10, and these are live auctions, right? They're not online.
Mm-hmm.
Um, that speech has not really been said as much because they're getting good crowds, right? But anyway, I'm kind of getting away from it. Um, but I will reposition myself, because I usually do stand to where the other people are. Like, I will reposition myself into an open spot before we even start bidding, but I know that item's coming up, right? So I want to make sure I'm not going to get overlooked. I want, like, if it's an item I really want, So, which is
Yeah.
which is sort of rare. Like, I really
It's
don't
rare that
care.
they miss a bid. I have seen them miss a bid, but it is really rare.
Yeah, but
usually
it's
it's
also
someone waiting too long to bid. Sometimes they get missed
yeah.
and
I
never
just meant
close it.
like it's rare that I would get overlooked,
Hmm.
but sometimes it does happen. You know what I mean?
Right. Okay.
Especially if I put my hand up. Oh yeah, you know what? I'll take it. And then it's like he calls it kind of when I decide, you know what? I'll give it a
That's
try.
what I meant. You're too slow. Yeah.
Yeah. So I don't want to be too slow. I want to like I'm in here. Look at me. You guys are
Yeah.
going down. I'm taking this home. You know what I mean? And usually I get some little old lady with a crutch walking. She beats me up for it anyway. So we all know those stories. But anyway, that's neither here nor there. Um, what started all this, Carl?
You're talking about your books, and then I turned the discussion to me, which is what I
Oh.
prefer. I talked about my books.
Yeah, no. So I got lots of those books, so I'll deal with them later on today. See
Yeah.
what actually is there. I was pretty happy with what I was seeing, but then again, there's a lot of stuff in there that I didn't know. But there's a lot of like foreign vehicle stuff, manuals, 1950s, 1920s, kind of in those areas. Um, so we'll see what happens. There's some nice old books in there too that could have some potential. But books for me are kind of odd because I'm kind of like, okay, these look interesting, but until I look them up, I don't know.
Mm.
So probably offering $500 was too much, but I think it was right in line with me getting called back in the future. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? And that's
Yeah.
what I need to do. I need to set kind of like, here's where I am, and they're super nice to me. Like, dude, I can't be more gracious them what I am for them to bring me into the house and let me look at stuff. Um, this place is just phenomenal. I don't even want to digress into it because it's just too much. But there, I will say that this guy was very big into his automobiles. The garage has like engines in it from like a Model T Ford, and you know what I mean, like just old cars, right? So uh it's just craziness. But he has a Volkswagen, and I'm going to say this because the auction will be over by the time this video comes out. But it's a Volkswagen uh, toolkit.
Oh, neat.
Right now, I'm winning at $65. The auction starts ends tonight around 8 o'clock. It starts closing down, and it goes for about $1,400. It has sold for that. People do have them listed for up to $2,000, 2,100, that kind of thing. I've also seen them listed for 800, but I hadn't got into it to see if maybe they're missing a piece. But this one is complete, and yeah. So, and when I got there, she goes, Scott. She goes, I think you should take a look at this. She goes, I had a gentleman call me from the U.S. and he wants me to ship it to him, and I don't ship to the U.S. And he was really hounding me for it. So I said, okay, I'll take a look at it. So I Google Lensed it, and I'm like, oh. She goes, well, how much is it worth? And I'm like, oh, that says Porsche. Yeah, this is Volkswagen. I didn't want to say it's worth $2,000. Like that's what people are trying to get for it, right? Because I'm like, I don't want to say that because there's people standing around, first of all, and I don't want someone else getting any ideas. You know what I mean? Right? So
Yeah.
I'm like, I can't find it. So
That is an awkward situation.
yeah, like, dude, I can't.
I don't want to tell you how much it's worth.
I don't want to say, right? Because I don't think they're shill bidding at all. But I don't want one of them to get an idea either, right? So I'm like, I don't know. I can't really find it. But anyways, it was one thing I overlooked because honestly, it just looked like a pile of tools in the like. It's not even really displayed properly in the auction. Like, so how this guy found it from the States, I have no clue, right? Like, it just says like Volkswagen. It might say like VW uh tool kit or something like that. Like it's not like super like stand out there. You know what I
No.
mean? So some guy from the US picked it up. Like out of all the listings in there, I completely missed it. But anyways, so this guy has tons of tools. So now I'm like in a catch 22 here. Like, what do I do? Do I go? So I took a quick look around yesterday, but it was just like so many tools. But if like these are branded names, right? Like I think it's Hurt, like HIRTZ or something like that. I Heinz, or maybe there's an N in there, but it's German. And like I'm sure he's got loose tools in there too for these things, right? Like
Yeah.
a lot of stuff was Volkswagen, a lot of stuff was Chevy, a lot of stuff was Ford, a lot of stuff was. He had everything in there. He was just a car guy, and he had engines and tools, and
Yeah.
he had some plate toppers. So
I know what those are now.
what's that?
I know what plate toppers are now.
Some of them get pretty good. Um, but the thing is, it's so overwhelming for them. They didn't even go through these boxes. They're just on these shelves in the garage, and you buy this section and this section and this section.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I'm like, if I had like time to go through this, because I'm not going to know what a lot of it is, right? I'm going to have to look it up. I didn't know what this little box of tools would be worth, right? You have to look it up. But I'm like, if I had time to go through all this and look it up, just the scrap alone in each, like just the metal scrap alone in each of the sections is probably $200-300. And these things are sitting at $10 right now. I think one is at $28. Everything else is like $6 or $10 for an entire section of shelving.
Well, I believe it. There's so many tools that come up every auction. It's just
But
like
it's not
overwhelming.
just tools. It's totally tools. But then
There's good tools. There's good tools in this game.
there's like old rotors,
Yeah.
obviously rusted and no good. But that's heavy weight that you can scrap metal. So the thing is,
So is iron worth scrap metaling?
oh my god, yeah, for
Because
sure.
I gave away heavy iron. Like I remember one once got
Well,
just like basically a club of iron, and I just like
so here's the thing on iron. Like I mean, you got to have a lot of it to make it worth a trip. Like I wouldn't take a bucket full. You know what I mean?
right.
But if I could fill up the back of the truck,
Oh
like,
God.
but I don't want to. Like if I had a trailer, it's different. I could borrow my cousin's trailer, I guess. But I don't want metal kind of being lugged in my truck and scraping the side. I'm paranoid enough with furniture doing that. But and the box isn't like super big, you know. So, but I don't know. I really there's no reason I can't do this. But I'm just saying that those rotors in the weight for scrap metal plus everything else in there that's going to be no good.
Yeah.
It's easily a couple $100. Just and all I'm doing is driving it I'm taking it 10 minutes away here to a scrap dealer, you know, a scrap yard. Like on it, and I think they give you a couple of days to clear that out. You know what I mean? I don't think you're rushed within 2 hour limit. Like I think they realize that there's going to be time required. Like those engine blocks, like those engines alone, like got to be worth. Just the engine alone has to be worth $400. Like I don't know, and scrap metal probably $300. Just the engine alone, let alone maybe selling it for $1,000. I don't know. I don't know if someone's looking for a Model T.
I wouldn't touch that stuff with a 50-foot pole, man.
Well, it's not like I'm going to lift it up with one arm. You know, let me curl this 5 times before I throw it in the back of the truck.
Yeah, screw that.
But it's just, I don't know. If you had a proper way of dealing with this kind of stuff, I think you could do extremely well. Extremely well. Like, I think you could work hard for a couple of days and make 10 grand.
Right.
Right? Just in the garage part of it. And if you could work a couple of days for 10 grand, Carl, don't you think that's worth it? Like, you're working hard, you're lugging and everything. So I don't know. I think
I am pretty
you're
bad.
going to be scrapping most of it. That's not what I do. I'd be going through each tool. I'd be Google lensing it. I'd really have to know, because you don't want to throw away a wrench that's worth 40 bucks, 50
No,
bucks,
no,
right?
exactly.
So I didn't see any snap on, but that doesn't mean they're not in there, right?
Yeah.
So I don't know. Kind of digressing a lot there, but it's one of those houses I'm like, God, I wish I had a setup to really deal with this kind of stuff. To deal with it properly. Um, you would almost need a barn where you could drive a truck, kind of like it had bay doors, where you could, like, a shipping, receiving, and you just put this stuff all out on a table and you kind of just went through it piece by piece. You need a couple employees for sure.
Oh God. Yeah.
But I just think, like, I don't know. This is me digressing into a whole nother world, but I'm like, if you had a clean out business and you could do, dude, I'm not kidding you. These auction houses do a house a week, and that's just because they only have one auction a week. I mean, I'm sure they could do more, right?
Well, there's waiting lists for a lot of the auctions around
And
here.
there is waiting lists. Like, she can't get back to this for another 2 weeks. The lawyer wants this all cleaned up as quick as possible, but she has 2 other estates she has to deal with, and then go back for part 2 on this one,
Wow.
right? Um, so anyway, it doesn't matter. Uh, it's just there's a gold mine there. They haven't
Yeah.
even dealt with the upstairs or one section of the garage. The garage is actually quite large. It's not a garage attached to the house. It's more of like a small barn set behind deep in the property, right?
Right.
So
More like a
it
workshop. Yeah.
it's completely a workshop, but it's got 2 bay doors, so you could park two car, like a 2-door garage.
Yeah.
It looks like that front wise, but when you go
Yeah.
to the side, it's actually extremely long, right? So um yeah, so it's just craziness. And when you look back at what could, like, that's out of one house, man. Like, honestly, that guy could have, like, sold on eBay and lived for 3 years selling on eBay. You know what I mean? Not having to buy a thing. He could probably
I
just
could I could probably say that too.
yeah, that's true. That's not really impressive, eh?
Not really.
all the resellers are going, that's it? 3 years, dude? I got 5 here.
All I'm thinking about is all the guys at the flea market who told me they have barns full of stuff.
Yeah, that's right. Okay, maybe I underestimated. Maybe he's got 5. He has so much stuff there. And I can't imagine what they threw out. Like, I probably should have been a little bit more aggressive on, like, aggressive is maybe the wrong word. So I go back yesterday. I haven't been there since the last time I talked about this. And I'm like, wow, you guys really dealt with a lot of stuff. I said, where'd you put it all? And she goes, oh, we threw a lot of it out. And I'm like, yeah, like, that's what I was supposed to be here for. But I kind of digress. I kind of struck the deal with the books, and I just kind of understood that everything else was coming up for auction, right? And I said, well, you must have thrown a whole bin away already, because it was half full. And the one there, I peeked over and looked in it, and it's covered in snow, but it was half full. It kind of looked like the same bin. I said, did you guys already throw? Oh, she goes, oh yeah, this is our second bin here. And I'm like, like, what are you throwing away? Like, I didn't see any junk. I'm sure there was a lot of junk, but I'm like, yeah, I don't know. It don't matter. It's just
What ifs.
what ifs. And I'm thinking to myself, could have I struck a different deal? Is there a different angle I should have approached this at? Like I'll come by when you guys are here, and I'll sit by the garbage bin, and I'll just take away what I like.
Hey,
Like,
some people talk about that. They do that, right? They're saying, I'll just take, because, like, if you save them dumping fees, they're happy with that, right?
they totally said I could, like, go through the garbage when I was there the first time. I don't know what days they show up. Like, they got a couple of weeks, and
yeah.
But I mean, a quick text will. I'm just around the corner on this one. But and the guy's like, so here's where I'm kind of getting at, Carl. I don't mean to like take control of this whole conversation here, but I apologize. I'll edit my stuff down. But I do want to say this. Like, the guy said, oh, this isn't near the worst house we've had. And I'm like, this is the best house I've ever saw. You know what I mean? Like he goes, we've had worse. So my thoughts are like, what is being thrown out? What are people seeing that are in that business? Like, what if I didn't really auction it off, but I could do cleanouts? What if how do I go about that angle? You know what I mean? Like, I don't want to do the auctions because I'm not getting first grabs at stuff. I'm just getting first sight of stuff that has to go up for auction because this is all going to be done through law, like lawyers and stuff for estates.
I
But what
think
if
the
I just
hard
did the
part.
clean?
I think the hard part is like when you do those sort of jobs, is you're dealing with a lot of garbage, and they don't want you just to go in there and cherry pick out, and then
Well,
they
who says
throw.
they don't want that? Like, that would be the deal. Like, I could say,
Well, I guess if
listen,
you're paying them, of course, then they would care. Because
or
right now they're
doing it
getting
for free.
zero. Yeah.
Because what happens is you do, if they just want it cleaned out, like, and half the time the kids just don't want to deal with it, right? So they're going to
No.
throw it out.
It's
So if I
I've
said,
always liked the thing you've said before, which is when the house sells for $1 million, and this is a house they might not even have anything to do with, they don't care about the $3,000 worth of stuff in the garage, right? Like,
or $10,000, they don't
or
care.
10,000. They don't care because they would rather get it on the market and gone.
Yeah. So this is my point. Like, if I do a clean out, what do they care what I take? Right?
They
I'm doing the
shouldn't.
clean out. I'll say that straight up. Listen, I will do this for free, but I will take what I think has a little bit of value. I will scrap the stuff. I will donate stuff. Whatever the situation is, this is how I deal with the stuff to lessen the garbage costs. But you know, and it has to be I'm not just going to walk into a house that's got newspapers wall to wall to wall. Like, there's no value there. I will go into a
Yeah.
house and I will try to evaluate something. But a lot of times too, these people don't even live in the town. They're living in BC or Nova Scotia or
Yeah.
Florida. They're not
Yeah.
even here. They can't deal with it. So they have a lawyer deal with the whole estate. You know what I mean? And then that lawyer or the real estate agent is now, you know, kind of stuck with it. So if you have some sort of connection, and this is a way of sourcing where it means it's going to grow, you might get a hit once a year, or you might get a hit once every 6 months. And then eventually, hopefully, you get a hit every week or 3 hits a month or something like that. You know what I mean? Whatever you can handle. But I don't know. I'm kind of thinking out loud here during the show, and
Yeah.
I don't know if that's going to be right.
I've heard Storage Warrior talk about this stuff because she was doing that too. She was dealing with junket companies as well,
Yeah.
and she was saying the issue is that she's only really interested in some things, but you get called for everything, right? So
Well,
it was. I'm not saying this isn't a bad idea. I'm saying this is a great idea.
yeah.
I'm just saying it's
Well, I
difficult.
mean, and that's
You know,
expected.
the
You're
house
not going
full
to
of
want.
newspapers is you get those calls, like you just said, right?
Well,
And then how do you deal with that? Saying I don't want any of this shit.
so I think the way you pitch it is every house is different. So if there's a lot of valuable here, it could be a situation where I'm even going to pay for the items. If there's no value here, I might charge for the job, right?
Oh, right.
Right? Like, there might be a $2,000 to $3,000 charge for me to come in here and clear all this shit out of here because there's going to be dumpster fees and I got to hire people to do this.
Well, you're gonna start working out.
Dude, I don't need to work out. I can lift a ton of crap. I'm a farmer boy, man.
Sorry, jeez. Okay. So
But
this,
but you know what I'm saying? So
right.
what I saw in this house too was amazing. You know what I mean? Like,
This is
every
the sort of
house.
thing you want to go in with a partner with almost as well, right? Someone
No,
else help for you.
it's all mine.
I would want a partner on this sort of thing because
It's
then you
it's
have
like
two.
I get the solid gold car,
That is a problem.
and you can have this. You can have the
The
Time
mouse
magazine
dropping.
from 1940s.
Yeah. You know what's funny?
Oh wait,
Okay.
no, they you can have the 1971. I want the 1941.
Oh, you know what's funny is Time Magazines is giving me my Bolo of the day. I'm not even kidding.
Well, that's why I changed it because I have a bunch of time ones too. The 30s and 40s are pretty decent.
Yeah, that's what I was going to talk. That's funny.
Yeah.
You just uh, predicted the future, man.
So I'll just close the week by saying things were really good. One of the things I was really happy with, I brought home from the booth, is it's probably, it's an old general store display case. It's for thread. It says Dexter on it. I think it's like late 1800s, definitely early 1900s to late 1800s. It's not much newer than 1920s. Like, it's older than that. So, but I'm going to say it's probably late 1800s, early 1900s. I had 200 and something on it at the booth. It sat and sat and sat for months. So I put 225 on it, and it sold within 24 hours. So that's going out today. So I'm pretty happy with that. A lot of decent sales. I won't get into it too much. Toy soldiers are like flying out the door.
Everyone drink. Yep.
Dude, it's been insane. It's been insane. Those things are like so good.
Yeah, it's really amazing.
Yeah, it's kind of like surreal in a way. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's craziness. But anyway,
you're gonna be so sad when you run out of new ones to list.
Yes. Did you see my video where I showed how many I have though?
No, I missed that one.
Dude, you gotta watch that one. The one where it says these sell like little nuggets of gold.
Oh yes, I did see that. Honestly, the toy soldier stuff, like I know about it so much, I probably didn't watch that a little bit.
Okay, because I went through the house where I have them all stored.
Oh no, yeah, I did see that. Yeah.
There's boxes,
boxes. Yeah.
So
I can only get so jealous, Scott.
Well, I would be happy for you, Carl.
I am happy for you.
But it's insane. And actually, I missed an entire box in that episode because what happened was I had a bunch at the booth that just weren't selling because they're pretty high priced. The lower Britons will sell for like $30 or a little bit less.
Yeah.
But the ones for $100 and $150, those King of Country weren't selling. So I brought them all home, which actually filled up a really large box full of them. So that was, I didn't have that in the video. So I'm going to have to, no, I won't. I just leave it. But damn, these are good ones too, right? So I didn't even show these off. Just kidding.
No, I think it's amazing. Like it's going to be one of your highlights for a long time because it's such a profitable buy, not just in terms of like return, but in terms of like easy to list, easy to ship. Like come on.
Yeah, no, it's
Except for
really
that
good.
Bastard in California who keeps rudely buying your stuff. Did you block him yet?
No,
of course.
Well, I'm obviously being very sarcastic about blocking him, although I thought the thumbnail was fun.
Well, we'll get into it in the comments because people are commenting about that. So I preempted that too quick. So let's put a pin in that and come back to it in the comments.
All right. But no, I haven't blocked him yet. But anyway, no, I'm just kind of like, no, things are going good. I will add this too, Carl. Saturday was kind of like, I think it was the reverse last week when I talked about it, but Saturday was kind of like, Friday was kind of like slower days at the booth. And then there was like a $450 day on Sunday. So even the booth like is so like, you just about get depressed and all of a sudden it just like pounds you right back up into like, all right, it's not over. But yeah, so anyway, there we go. So that was the week. Just kind of wanted to round it off with a little bit of everything. So how was your week, Carl?
Well, my week.
Well, listen, we took 20 minutes to talk about my week. You got 30 seconds. No, I'm kidding.
Yeah, what else? I need a new phone. My phone's dying. Right. And I said to Amy, I said, well, with the new phone, I would put the sound on for eBay sales because like I can't get the old one to work. And I said I would do that, but it annoys you. And she said, oh, don't worry, you're selling so few things, it won't be an issue anymore.
What?
Oh, the burn. She burned me.
Dude, that was good. That was a good burn.
Yeah, it was a pretty good burn.
Anything that makes you cry is a good bird, eh?
Oh, I was like, oh, but she's right. But the booth was pretty quiet.
That was awesome.
I know.
Wow.
Those phones are bloody expensive.
Those what?
Those new smartphones are like $1,500, $1,700. They're not cheap things.
Oh, wow.
I don't think I spent that much on my old phone, but I need a new phone. It's dying, so and I use it a lot. I must admit.
Yeah.
It was about 70 or $80 at the booth, so it was pretty quiet. I have another story though.
Okay.
So at the booth, I have all these Smurfs in a gorgeous display cabinet, right? So
Yeah.
actually, one kind of side bolos is if you ever see little small display units, like not like shelving, but kind of like I don't know, foot by foot kind of stuff, like where you can open up the front window and you can put like all these little shelvings inside. Everyone wants those things. Every time I have those at the booth, it's like, how much is your display unit? How much is your display unit? Anywho, so the guy comes up and I have about 50 Smurfs, all in great condition. And he says, well, how much for all the Smurfs and the display unit? And I said, well, the display unit's not for sale. And I said, I'm not really interested in a bulk deal.
What? Dude. He's asking you how much. You just add them all up.
So I have $7 a piece on them.
And how many are there?
About 50.
All right.
350.
Yeah.
And I said, well, I got down to $5 a piece. He said, no. He didn't even counter. And I was like, fine. It was the awkward silence thing, and neither of us say anything. It's like, I don't want to sell these cheap. I don't want to sell these for $3 each or $4 each, right? So we didn't come to a deal, and the guy buggered off, right? And then my friend who I do the commissions for, he's keeping me alive, by the way. It's his stuff that's selling.
Well, let's not go too far for a second off the Smurfs. So you got a display.
No, I'm not going off the Smurfs.
Okay.
So he gets to visit me sometimes at the booth and hang out, right?
Yeah.
So this Sunday he came by and hung out, and he wasn't there for that conversation. And the guy across from me does toys, and I went to ask the guy across from me, Chris, what he would have done in this situation, right? Because I'm not, like I said, we've talked about this before.
Can I say what I would do before you tell me what he would do?
Yeah.
Okay. So I want to just get a little picture of this display case. Is it like what kind of size is it? Does it fit all the Smurfs nicely, and then that's it?
It looks beautiful, but it's not mine.
Oh.
But even if it was mine, I wouldn't want to sell it because it's perfect for toys.
Okay.
For it's like if I had two of them, yeah, I would sell one. But in this case, it's like if I bring in glass cabinets, I don't want to sell my glass cabinets because
okay,
right, is to have them. So
okay, so let's say if you wanted to sell it, what would you think it's worth?
60 to 80.
So you could have said, "Listen, I'll do $350 for the Smurf, and I'll throw the display case in, and then maybe he'll counter with 300 or something like that." That's something where I would go with. But anyway, you know what I mean? Because you got nothing in the Smurfs, I'm sure.
No, they were pretty. I got a good deal on the Smurfs, actually.
Yeah. So you'd be doing well with a $350 sale, including the display case, I would assume.
So I know we've talked about this 1,000 times.
Okay.
And I know people commented on this 1,000 times.
Yeah.
And all my friends at the flea market and my friend I came doing the commission for has told me this 1,000 times. What they always ask, what do you have in it? Yes. I'm always, what is it worth?
Yeah.
I understand, like, everyone's giving me the same advice, right? So it's good advice. I'm just saying, this is it's going to take me a long time to bang my head through this wall.
Yes.
Because it's so unnatural for me. Right. So
I think, Carl, just not to digress it too much, I'm going to keep it right in line here, but I think your thought process on this affects your ability to negotiate because you're thinking everybody thinks like this. And honestly, they're thinking like the guys are probably going to tell you how much you got into it, and that kind of. So most people think about how can I get rid of it,
Yes.
get as much as I can,
Yes.
but emphasis on getting rid of it.
Yes.
And I think you got to realize that that's how most people are thinking. And I mean most by 80 to 90% of the people.
Yes. Yes.
So if you turn your mindset to that, I think you're going to become a better negotiator. Because it's not your people skills. It's your connection to the value skills. I don't even know if that's a skill, but thoughts? You know what I mean? Anyway,
Well,
sorry.
I think it's because I'm trained in the eBay world where it's so less direct, the interaction, right?
Yeah.
Because if I have those Smurfs online and they're in great condition, right? So I'm going to ask $7 a Smurf, right?
Yeah.
I'm not going to get a lot of interaction with the sale. Someone could send me a, will you take X if I take all of them, right? But it's not direct. It's like, it's an email. I have time to think about it. I have a time to unemotionally think about it, right? Rather than you're in my, not in my face, but you're in front of me, right? And also with the eBay world, it's not about physical inventory taking up space like it is in a booth. I'm not saying there isn't inventory at home, right? But it's pretty well meaningless, the size of a Smurf, right? But when we're talking by a 10 by 10, and if I take those out, I can put something else in its place. There's a value in the quote unquote getting rid of it, right?
For sure.
And it's taking me. I know everyone's told me this, and I understand.
You always give me a hard time for doing that. Remember, I used to do that, and
I want all the money. I like money,
and you used to give me a hard time doing that out of the booth.
I do. I still do, because I come from an eBay world.
Yeah.
Now
I used to sell my cameras to Adam, and
it's crazy to me. That's crazy.
And I've got like $1 to $5 in each camera. He's paying me 50% of what it's worth, and I'm still giving him a better deal. Like if it's worth 400, he'll give me 200, and I'm like, just give me 150 because I have $20 invested in it.
And all I hear is you just lost $250.
I'm taking the 150 and going to buy more stuff.
But okay. See, this is why I'm having a big I'm not saying I'm right, just to be clear. I'm saying I'm wrong. I'm just saying it's hard for me to get over this stupid mental hump.
Well, but you've brought it to my attention before, and I think we all kind of know this a little bit, but you've definitely mentioned it. But there's a time value too that you don't have to deal with now. Like I don't have to go and test and list all those cameras.
That's a big plus, yes.
Right? So
he's buying them as is too, right?
Well, he'll buy them as is, but a lot of these things can be sold parts and repair and stuff like that too, right? So
he's not going to come back at you and say you sold me this thing that doesn't work. He might come back
and I just want to finish because I was going to say this.
Okay.
There's a difference between Adam and myself. He's a camera guy. He can test a camera and be confident within 5 minutes, where I'm going to look it over. It's probably going to take me 20 minutes.
Yes.
You know what I mean? So he can pretty much look at it right here before he buys it and feel comfortable buying it. When I go to a yard sale, I might check, and I emphasize might, if I remember, check the battery compartment. Otherwise, I'm just buying it for $1.
Me too.
What I mean?
Actually, I saved myself the other day by actually for once in my life checking the battery compartment. I just saw corrosion coming out the back. I went, nope.
Yeah.
But it was one of the rare times I actually checked.
Like I remember, why can't I get this battery compartment open? Oh, you know what? Yeah. I'll do it when I get home.
Yeah.
Oh, that's why, because it's exploded in the.
I know. I still make that mistake.
So if I can't get it open, there's a reason, and I know that now. I've done that before. Oh, I'll just open it when I get home. I'll use a screwdriver. Yeah. What's that?
I still do that. I don't want to look too closely and ruin a good thing I bought.
Yeah.
Exactly. What is it? It's like, it's still good as long as I don't actually look too close.
Yeah,
I don't
that's
find the
right.
crack as long as I don't look too close.
Good from far, but far from good. Eh?
um. Anyway, so back to the Smurfs. So I asked my friend Chris, "How much would you have done?" He said, "Dude, you should have sold them for $3 a piece and been happy with it."
Yeah,
Then I talked to my friend who's doing the co-signing with me, and I asked him. He said $3 a piece and be happy with it. Saying,
yeah.
"Oh, damn it!" But
Well, that's $150.
that would have been good.
Yeah.
If he went for it. If he went below 3, I would never do that.
Well, he
Because
wanted the display case too, though, right?
yeah, but it wasn't a deal breaker. He said, "Oh, okay." He said, "I want it because it looks really nice, and it does. It looks great." The display with the Smurfs, which is kind of why I know it's stupid, but it's kind of why I want it there because it makes me happy just looking at it.
Well, yeah. Well, if you wanted to sell the display case, which clearly you don't, but if I wanted
Well, it's
like
not even mine, but yeah,
yeah, that's true too. But if it was obviously if it was your like if it was mine and the Smurfs, I probably would have said, listen, it's $350 on all the Smurfs. When you add them up, there's a ton here. I'll throw the display case in for free, and then let him counter from there. You know what I mean? I've set the tone. He'll probably come down to three, but in all honesty, you're willing to let them all go for two. If it's worth 50, $60 for the case, and at $3 a piece, you're looking at $150. I mean, there is a point where, okay, that's just lowballing too much for me. I'm not going to do that. But if he walked out of there with $200, if he gave you $200 and he took all the stuff, that's still a pretty good deal, right?
yeah. I probably only spent like $20 on all the Smurfs, right?
Yeah. And technically the display case wasn't yours anyway. So if you sold that, that's like free money.
Yeah, exactly. Just, just don't tell my buddy who shows up every week. Hey, where did that go?
Oh,
Oh,
didn't you come and get it? I like.
oh man, I'm so paranoid. I take pictures of everything when he gives them. Not everything. The jewelry, I take pictures just to make sure there's not that he's worried about me stealing or anything. It's just more like if someone else steals something, I want to know it's gone, right? But anyway, it was just funny. They both came up with the exact same value. Actually, did I say this already? No, I don't think I did. So I was talking to another friend, and they have a problem with a thief, and he actually had pictures, and he gave it to me just of this guy, and what he's doing is he's going into flea markets or stores stealing stuff, valuable stuff, going to the other flea market or store and selling it there. Yeah. And this guy had been into my friend's store and stolen like a $300 game.
Holy shit.
Yeah, there's a big story behind it, but I won't get into it. It's not that important.
Well, I can
Anyway,
tell you there's ways to counter that, but anyway, go ahead.
so what he had done is he had stolen from the store and they had him on videotape,
Oh,
right?
yeah.
And they had the guy's phone number for some reason. Because I guess maybe he was trying to sell stuff there at one point and they had the guy's phone number. So they have him on tape. And so they call him up and say, "What the hell, dude? We have you on tape stealing the stuff." And they put all his face all over social media saying,
Whoa.
"Watch out for this guy."
Yeah, that's not good.
I was wondering about that.
Yeah.
Anyways, so the guy came back to the store and paid them for the stuff he stole.
Okay.
Who does that? If I'm going
I
to steal something, am I really going to go back to the store and say, "Oh, you caught me, my bad. Here's money"?
um
I'm not a thief, so I can't think like a thief.
yeah,
But
I don't know what the thought process is there, but I think as the owner, you have to trespass him and give him like a like I would honestly get him to sign a sheet if he's that willing to come back and pay for things. I would here's a trespass form. I'd prefer that you sign it here. If not, we're gonna have to get the police involved. You know what I mean? When he came back, I would have definitely recorded the whole thing, at least audio. If you can't get a camera up there, but if you can get someone to discreetly have their phone set up so that they can videotape all this kind of stuff and this guy admitting it. And you, if the guy refused to sign it, I would get the police involved and just say, listen, this guy is stolen. We
Well,
have
they tried. They did try.
video footage of him admitting to it and paying for the stuff, but we want him trespassed to property,
Yeah.
and they might issue like a trespassing notice or something. I don't know if there's notices that they would get involved in because it is private property and everything, but they definitely would fine him if the next time he comes on property. I mean, most people don't have this ability, but like they can do it legally, but they don't mentally have the ability. But hold him and arrest him for trespassing.
Right. I don't know the
Right?
situation here. I know they did try to get the police involved. The police weren't interested in this case.
They're not going to be. But what?
Yeah, it's not big enough, to be honest.
What? Here's what you do. You just start having a rapport with the police. Hey guys, come by. You just come by here, and we got free donuts and coffee. You know what I mean, dude? It goes a long way. Just
I don't know.
You guys bored? If you just sit in the parking lot,
we got some donuts, you cops.
Well, dude, when I won't say who I worked for, but we worked for a company. I worked in the security. We used to take local cops out for dinner all the time and just like let them know what's going on. And beer and chicken wings went a long way, dude. It really did.
I believe it.
Right?
Yeah.
And they were good guys. They're just very relaxed.
Cops are like anyone,
Yeah.
My cousin's an RCMP officer. There's good ones and there's not good ones, just like in every.
And a lot of times, it could have been an off-duty situation. Like it's not like they're sitting there and drinking in their uniform at all. But you just take them out for beer and wings. Just say, hey, listen, like we're having problems. We just, you're going to take a detective and or somebody who's in charge of like that kind of unit for that kind of stuff. Anyway. And they're, even if they're not the ones that respond, they're going to say, hey, let me give Joe a call and I'll tell him to come out there and we'll follow up on this. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, you don't want to call them for everything because then you're a pain in the ass. But for something this serious where people are stealing $300 or $400, they're going to want to know anyways. They're going to walk over to where he's selling his stuff. You're going to point him out and they're going to read him the riot act. Listen.
Yeah, maybe.
You know what I mean? We know you've been stealing over here.
Yeah.
We know that this stuff is probably stolen. If you're stealing it from them, where else are you stealing it from? We're going to put you under an investigation. In the meantime, don't be going over to that place or we're going to come and arrest you for trespassing. And that's it. A conversation like that, the guy's going to crap his pants right there.
Or don't care.
Oh, he'll care.
Sometimes these guys don't give a crap.
He wouldn't. He's going to care. If he came back to pay for the stuff, he's going to care. And most of the time, people will care.
Well, he cared about his face being all over social media.
And the problem is now he could be sued. Because all he's going to say is like, listen, these guys are lying. You got no proof. Right?
Well, they have the camera proof.
They have him stealing on camera?
Yeah.
Well,
anyways, this was really just an aside.
I thought they just had him at the store on camera. I didn't know they had him stealing.
Actually stealing, yeah.
Then I would have just called the cops right away. I wouldn't even have called him. I would have just went right to the cops.
The cops didn't care.
Well,
from what I understand, like this story is from someone else and someone else and someone else, right? Like,
well, if the cops have to care, just say, listen, we have a person here that's caught on video stealing. We know who he is, and this is where he is, and this is his name. Yeah. And he stole an item for over $300. They're going to care. You filed a report. They have to care. It's a theft on video. It's an easy cut case.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? They have to care. You don't even have to give them the coffee and donuts on this one.
I think in this case, like I don't know the exact I don't know the exact situation. I think it's more a case of like just warning people that this guy's out here and to keep an eye open because I don't know the exact. Anyways, I don't even know why I mentioned this. It was just an aside.
No, well, it's very interesting, Carl. Like maybe not to eBay sellers, but for people in antique booths and and flea markets and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Like, I think if you wanted to put a picture of him or hand it out to people within the facility, but once you start putting on a Facebook and all this other kind of stuff, I think now that guy's open to a lawsuit.
Yeah, I didn't even feel comfortable showing this to the owner of the facility, because
Yeah.
what's the owner of the facility going to do? Oh yeah, okay, I'll keep an eye out for him. Like he can't. You know, I can like
Okay.
if I see the guy, if I see
I'm
the guy coming through the market, I'm going to be pointing my arm and saying, "Watch out for this guy," right? But I can't like, and I don't know all the whole story to be
right.
honest, right? I
Okay.
just,
So maybe I'm wrong here, but didn't the owner of the facility, is it who caught him stealing on
it
video?
was a different place in a different town. It's like another flea market somewhere else, an hour away, in a different location. Caught the guy stealing, or it
Wow.
was a store. I don't even know. Right?
Has
So
this guy been known to frequent your place?
no,
Oh my God. What am we even talking about then?
because it's I
I
don't know.
misunderstood. I got digressed. I thought he was coming to your place and you're
Well, we're worried about him. Like, there's no reason he couldn't come to this place. It's not like it's that far away.
right. I understand now. Um but anyways, as the owner of the facility, that's what I would do. I would get a rapport with the police going,
Yeah.
and they're gonna like it too. Like, maybe if they could send someone over here how to identify counterfeit money, or what to, like,
Oh God, I haven't
pay.
even thought of that problem.
Oh yeah, there's all sorts of things that
Oh
can
man.
can go on. Dude, I tell you, there's no. We can do a whole episode on
Oh,
this shit.
I don't want to
This is,
know. I'd
this is
rather
my
not.
expertise, man. I know.
I'm worried about enough about picking up stuff and misidentifying it, or like it being a repo, let alone like purposely getting like fake $20 bills and stuff like that. That'd be a nightmare.
Oh
I'd
yeah,
probably
there's.
pass it on with no idea, to be honest. They could probably put like Ronald McDonald on the bill. And I probably wouldn't even notice.
Well, these new bills might be a little bit harder to counterfeit, but the other one's just a good photocopier with
Jesus,
the old bills. Remember?
I heard they used to. Anyways, let's not
Go ahead. Go
digress.
ahead. Go ahead.
I heard the photocopiers were smart enough to know when you're trying to do that, and would like it would like go all black or something like that. Like,
Oh, I don't know. I don't
but
think so.
I
I
don't
don't think
know.
so.
Oh man.
But
Where the hell were we? Yeah, so I got three. So I should have gone for $3 a Smurf. That was the guy was a little taken aback too when I said, "Oh, I'm not interested in a bulk deal."
I'm always interested in bulk deals, both
Oh
buying and selling.
shit!
As long as I'm getting a good profit, like, I don't know, you had 50, so that's a lot, but
I
I
don't
don't
think
think I'd
well
take
my feet.
anything under $100 then, right?
Yeah,
That's $2 a piece for sure. You got 20 into them. But I mean, you start high and negotiate down. Like, say,
you,
okay, so I got, if you add this all up, it comes to 350, like $300. How's that? Then they're gonna shake their head and like, okay, well, what were you thinking? Like how much do you want off? You know what I mean? Kind of throw it at them sarcastically like that, and then just work it from there.
you're you're giving great advice. It's
You're
gonna
gonna,
take me a long time to get there.
dude.
I'm gonna have so many more stories like this, and people are gonna get so frustrated. It's not my natural skill. What can I say? It's not my
Well,
natural
I
skill.
think it's because you're thinking too much about
I
what
yeah
they're thinking, and
yeah.
if you're wrong, it's going to affect things. And
Are,
it sounds like you give people too much credit, like you're giving them too much.
they're trying to get me, man.
Yeah, like they're not. Well, I mean, I guess they are in a way. They're just trying to create a better deal for themselves, which we all do. Who cares?
I always just pay what people want.
Right? Like, so if the guy was going
He
to
doesn't
go
even
on,
answer.
if the guy was going on for under $100, just say, listen, dude, I had to pay $50 for all this. You know what I mean? I'm at least, I got to double my money here.
I, I have to get over worrying about people insulting me. Like someone bought like a little baby mug off of me, another vendor. I had $3 on it, and she's like, "How about two?" I was like, "Fine, two." It's like, really? I would just pay the $3. But I kind of realize now that that's what everyone does. It's okay. It's okay. It's gonna be
It's
all right.
it's it's good. It's good, Carl. It's what makes the world go round.
I know. Anyways, that's my boost story for the week. I knew this would all come up, right? It's just like it was just funny how everyone came up with the same value and the same mentality. Um, yeah.
Well, it's fine, Carl. This is good. This is good that you're here. This is worth more than what you could possibly make if you doubled what you're making now.
Ouch. Maybe
No,
this.
but this is priceless. You know what I mean? This valuable learning of negotiation. Dude, it's one thing to know your eBay and know your stuff to pick and stuff like that, but it's also something to learn to negotiate. Like, I don't know. I'd have to go out with you some
There's a balance.
Saturday morning at yard sales. But I think, like, I guarantee you haven't even called that lady for that private pick yet.
Shut up.
Am I right?
Shut up.
Dude, give her a call, man.
I was hoping we'd forget all about that.
Oh gosh. Like, this is where I don't know what it is. I think
I'm not
once you
hungry.
break the ice,
I'm
I
not
think
hungry. That's part of the problem.
but
No, why are we talking about this? Let's go on to the next subject.
well, I have an eBay story.
Okay.
Okay.
Whew.
So I'll lay off the hook now. So I kind of briefly mentioned it to you the other day, but I had a guy who bought something from me in mid-December, and eBay messaged me. We closed this guy's account. If you haven't sent it out yet, do not send it out.
Oh,
send
yeah.
it out.
Yeah.
He had
Yeah.
paid.
Yeah.
But they're canceling it and they're advising me not to send this item out. So
Yeah.
I think I talked about that on the show.
Did. Or we talked about it at least. Yeah.
Yeah. So then I got a message this week and the guy's back. So I bought this item from you back in mid-December. eBay closed my account. I did pay for it, and I'm just wondering if you sent it out. So I'm like, oh, great. So I ignored it. 2 days later, he's back. He goes, Scott, can you even see my messages?
Right.
Right?
We heard
If
this
you
bit,
can,
yeah.
please let me know.
Yeah.
So I called eBay. And of course, I had to go through the rigmarole of explaining everything. And then finally, we figured it out. And he goes, oh, well, let me put you through to security. Then I had to explain it all over again, which was
And they
fun.
wanted you to make a spoof account or something stupid.
They wanted me to, yeah. So security,
Yeah.
said to ignore it, blah 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 blah. And then he goes, here, why don't we do a spoof email?
Yeah. Maybe you and I just discussed it offline.
Yeah, we just discussed that offline, but
Yeah.
I did talk about it on this show about this guy and how eBay canceled the order.
I'll let you tell the story then.
That was back in December.
Yeah.
But anyways, the security guy wanted me to do a spoof email.
Yeah. It's dumb.
to this guy.
Yeah.
And I'm like, buddy, like, this is exactly what I said to him, right? I said, listen, I'm more than happy to help you guys out, but I am not going to get into this to the point where this guy wants to seek revenge and start messing up my account or something.
It's not
right
your job.
now, he doesn't even know if I can see his emails or not. So I'm going to pass it on to you. I'm going to ignore all this kind of
You deal with it.
all this stuff, but I don't want to get involved.
No, of course not. Our job is to sell stuff, not to entrap people.
Yeah. So I'm like, but this guy is like, okay. But when they transferred me to him,
yeah,
everything was like, it was like talking to it was obviously a person, but you know how sometimes like the connection's not quite right, so there's a lot of background and it kind of sounds robotic.
Yeah.
When someone's trying to talk to you, it had that. There was a lot of interference, and I could hear echoing of my voice, and I'm like, can you even hear me? Do you know what I'm? He goes, yeah, I can hear you. Fine. I said, well, I'm getting an echo. I'm getting feedback. And he goes, no, everything's clear here. And I'm like, this is just surreal. Now you want me to do a spoof email? Like,
he's gone off script.
Yeah, like
we complain when they're on script too much, but now he's off script.
Is this eBay or the CIA? Like, what's going on?
He's bored with his day. It's like, let's screw with this buyer.
Yeah, I'm going to screw with this guy. So I'm like, did you accidentally put me through to the guy that actually is messaging me, or what? Like, what's going on here? So anyway, I just said I'm going to ignore it. So, and he goes, okay, I understand. And then that was it. But I'm like, What is
That's
this
funny.
spoof email? Like,
No, I'm not doing that. You want me
like,
to like meet you like in a park somewhere? We'll pass over packages.
yeah, exactly, right? Holy Christ! But anyway,
You haven't
it,
heard back from the guy since then.
no,
The guy who
no,
said he paid. It's like
no.
that's not your problem.
It's no, and they said that he'll look after it.
Okay. Well, hopefully that
So,
actually happens.
you know,
You know.
they
Sorry, go ahead.
probably just canceled that account.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
probably how they
The
look
new
after it.
one. Yeah.
Yeah.
If the guy paid, you did get the money anyways. So
Nope. No, I didn't get the money. They canceled the whole thing. But
yeah. So
um,
I wouldn't get involved at all. What was
yeah.
it? What was it? The thing?
So it was antique. They're in an old box. They're probably from the 30s, but they were butter knives. But they were brand, like, I mean, they were unused, but the box was definitely opened.
Okay.
You
It's
know, they
not the
weren't factory sealed or anything.
unique thing.
What's that?
It's not really a unique thing. They made a lot of that stuff.
Well, yeah, I don't know.
Why did they
It's
need
kind
yours?
of weird that somebody would try to scam on this, but I don't know what the plan was.
Hmm.
Um, yeah,
Strange. Yeah, it's not really a
I think
scammy item. Who
45 to
knows?
50 bucks. Like, it's not a big ticket item either, right? So
Maybe the guy's older and is all confused, or who knows. Thankfully, you don't have to worry about it.
I don't care. I don't
So the
give a
guy
shit.
I
I don't
sent
give a care.
the board game to, remember I said I sent the wrong one?
Yeah.
He got the right one. Very happy. He left me positive feedback. So
Ah,
it worked out in the end. So
nice.
remember he said, "Why did you do this?" In the
Yeah.
message. Why did you do this?
Or I thought it was, how could you do this?
Or how could you do this? Yeah. Yeah.
How could you do this?
How could you do this? It's like, okay. Oh my God.
But
Yeah, I haven't sold too much this week, but I don't. What did I say? I sold some old stuff like a Mega Blocks Halo stuff, which was I'm happy to see the back end of because it was pretty big and taking up a lot of room.
oh, nice.
And what else? Magazine. I bought a huge. I think I talked about this, but drummer magazine lot.
Oh, yeah.
And I
Yeah.
made so much money on that stupid lot. I got it for practically free. Like no one wanted this from the auction, so it was kind of nice.
Well, that's good. Drummer.
Drummer magazine, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. It's funny. I'm sure I have it, but it's one of those things you see it. It's like, didn't I already ship that out? But hopefully I didn't. I checked all my solds just in case.
I sold 4 to 5 insoles.
Oh yeah, yeah.
One person bought 3 of them.
Nice.
20% off. I think that's a no brainer.
Yep.
I don't know if I mentioned that last week or if it was this week, but
You mentioned it to me before, but I can't remember if it was private talk or on the podcast.
it's nice to have that kind of stuff go, right? Like,
yeah, I love that stuff. It's easy.
Yeah.
This magazine's easy. I just put in a flat mailer and off it goes. I spent money on those mailers, but it's so worth it because it just takes no work. It takes me a lot more work to find the damn thing. That's the only problem with magazines is it takes me a while sometimes to find it. I need to organize those better, but
yeah, no, everything's going good, and it sounds like good for you too.
yep. I bought some vinyl covers. That was exciting.
Oh
LP.
yeah, the eBay.
We talked about that actually. Yeah, it's exciting times.
Yeah, I don't know if it's more exciting getting an Amazon parcel for me or the dogs because they like. I don't think any Amazon guy would ever break into this house because the dogs they go right to the door, and they just bark like crazy.
They're not getting in.
I'm lucky to get packages.
Our cat's going nuts, so Amy bought something off Amazon to entertain him. Poor cat. At this time of year, he just goes crazy. Like literally starts climbing the walls. He's so bored. I feel sorry for him. But
I used to get my cousin had a cat, and I guess it was kind of more of a kitten, but those little lasers.
yeah. Those feel cruel to me. I don't know. I don't like using them. It feels so mean.
My cousin had to take it away from me. And like I'm a grown adult, like, but he has to take it away from me because,
You're
like,
making him bonk his head and stuff like that.
oh
It's
my
like,
god, it's so funny.
yeah.
And it just he'll spin and spin and spin and spin and spin and spin. Like it just, like, and they're never gonna catch that dot.
God, so mean.
But oh, it's funny.
Okay, so are you done with that this segment? Can we should we move on? Is there anything else you want to add? I think that was pretty well my week and your
Yeah,
week.
that's pretty much it. Go into the bolos.
Yeah, like I said, I got a bunch of stuff at auction. Nothing. The D&D was the exciting stuff, and a bunch of garbage. Half of it's going back out again. Sometimes it's so cheap you can't say no. It's like a box full of frames and stuff. It's like $5 or $10 or $7. I think I spent $7. Most of the frames got immediately put back into a box to turn into a coupon,
Yeah,
and some of the frames I'll see if I can flog for $1 or $2. But one of the frames is actually kind of nice. It's a gilded frame for a painting, but you have to have a painting that fits that exact bloody size.
yeah. I think
So
there's a lot of artists out there that would put something in that. They'll just create a canvas to fit that, right?
yeah, so I put $10 in the booth, and we'll see. We'll
Yeah,
see.
that's probably a good price. It'd be interesting to see if they what you can actually get for them because there's lots out there.
It. I think it's one of those dangerous categories where you're like, oh, like this is so cheap, I'll just buy this stuff, and then
But
it ends up sitting around forever.
I don't know what your opinion is, but I think some of those frames look really nice, and I'm like, how could somebody not be wanting this,
I know no one wants them.
right?
No one
It's like,
wants.
yeah,
Yeah, like
and they
like
got like they're
rosewood and
definitely,
teak and stuff like that, and
yeah.
they're not necessarily old, but Bombay company has some value sometimes, I find. But yeah, no, it just sits around. I
No,
got
but I'm
these
talking like Victorian, like very
ornate ones, yeah.
ornate ones, right? So I see them a lot, and I don't know. I'm just like, how can somebody not like this frame? It like I don't know. Sometimes the frame's so nice, I guess maybe it takes away from the picture. I don't know what the problem is, but
I think they made a ton of them too, right?
yeah, but you don't really see them unless you go to an antique store.
And
Like,
they're sitting there forever.
yeah, like where would somebody else find one of these things? Like I don't see them all the time. When I do, it's usually 3 to 10 of them available, but it's not like I see them all the time.
Maybe it's the fact that people don't really print their photos anymore. They just show them on
Well,
their phones.
but if you go to Walmart, like they're always selling frames and all sorts of shit there. They have a whole area designated for them.
Yeah, true.
So I don't know. I guess those have glass inserts and everything, but I don't know. Who am I to know? I don't care. I just want to sell stuff people are interested in.
Well, that's it, right? Like there's I found, especially when you're buying in these big bulk lots, there's a lot of danger items, like stuff that you think is good. Like for me, the classic one is like every time I say these things, and you say, "Well, Carl, actually, so one of my examples is self-playing piano rolls. I will see those once in a blue moon at the thrift store, and they'll have a whole shelf that someone donated full of those piano rolls. Now, I know there are some out there that have a bit of value, but 99% of them have no value and no one wants them. But they look great because they're vintage. They are old, right? They are vintage. It's just that no one has that upright self-playing piano anymore.
So here's what I do with those, Carl,
Right? Here we go.
or what I have done with those. And you're gonna go, oh yeah. Remember how I said that you should have your shelves half the size and you should put a board or a glass insert and then
Yeah. Yeah.
I use those piano rolls to the side and that's what I set my shelf on. Because those piano rolls have a nice end to them. They kind of look, old and they kind of look interesting, even
Yes.
though there's no value there. And they're only a couple inches high, so you can
Yeah.
you can do 2, 4, or 6 inches high, and then put stuff on that shelf behind the stuff that's sitting on the lower part in front of it. Just a thought there, though.
It's funny because like that's a great idea. The funny thing I find is that the thrift stores think they're valuable as well. And you'll see them put high prices on that sometimes, and they all just
Oh,
sit
okay.
there.
Well,
Not all the time. Not all the time.
I'm gonna grab them. And listen, I honestly grabbed them for the purpose of selling them, but they don't move. And I got them at an auction for like very little money, like $5 or $10.
Oh, if they're $5, $10, I'd fall into the trap and buy them.
Yeah, and then you're gonna look them up and realize it was a waste of time
Yeah,
and a waste of
exactly.
money. So if you go directly to the shelf idea,
Yeah.
but
Use the pop up stuff. There's the value there.
but I just thought they looked neat. And I used to put cans, but then you need 4 cans, and it's still wobbly. These
It's
things,
wobbly, yeah.
the glass shelf sits really perfectly onto them, right? So, but just a thought: if you have some, I wouldn't go out and buy them just for that purpose. Really, I guess you could find something else to do that. But
my main point was like, there's a lot of these items out there that you see, and you realize no one actually, they are old, they are vintage, but they just get recycled from reseller to recycle
yeah,
yeah.
Now,
Each one has to learn the lesson.
I did see a piano once that played that, but that wasn't for sale. It was at a house where they were doing kind of a clean outish type thing, but they weren't selling that piano. I think those pianos that play with those on those rolls are worth a lot of money.
Okay.
So keep that in mind. That's going to be a bitch to pull out of a house, and it's going to be really heavy.
Screw
but
that.
I think they're worth like $1,000 or more.
Oh, wow.
Like they could be worth.
I have metal? Are those ones metal, not paper?
No. Like they would have been. They're the ones that you play those paper rolls on.
Okay.
Right. So they would have probably maybe, I don't know. I guess it was a house. It was a house, but to me, it reminds me of like watching westerns where it's at a saloon or something, and they just put the roll in, and the piano plays itself based on that roll.
Yeah. Okay.
Right. So this is the actual piano that takes those rolls. And I honestly, if I could find that, I might even keep that.
You'd have to sneak that into the house, so my wife would be very upset. It's like, well, that's going to take up so much room. You're never going to use it. It's going to gather dust. What were you thinking?
Like the size of a couch, but I would think
lucky, yeah.
I would think it would be. I don't know. It'd be neat for a couple of days. Novelty wears off. You could only do the Texas two-step a couple of times, right?
And then realize my kid, my Alexa will play that without any of the BS.
The Captown ladies sing this song, and then that's the music, and then what's the next song, baby? Well, give me 10 minutes to change the roll.
Yeah.
Right?
Stay far away from that stuff.
But I think it would be kind of neat.
I'm trying to think of any other categories that's like that too, where like the stuff looks valuable, but no one actually wants it. I probably have stuff around here. Well, clear glass is one of those. Like,
yeah,
this is crystal.
Clear glass is just out of my. I don't know.
Touch it. I won't touch it.
I just don't want to deal with that. All right, Carl. So, do you know what time it is right now?
Yep, it's time for Bolo
of the week.
There we go. See, yay!
In unison. All right, Carl. Well, do you want to go first?
Yeah, I'll start. So, just to be clear, I haven't actually bought any of these things, but I see them all the time. And I see them at auctions. I sometimes see them I'll see them at flea markets. I'll see people trying to get rid of these things. And I wanted to know myself. So, Life magazines, American publication, started in 1883 to 1936. And then it was it changed what they did, which was much more about photography. And 1936 past are the ones that I was kind of looking up. So, in general, the 1940s, 30s, and 50s seem to be the ones that have value between $5 to $10 each. So obviously still want to get them in good condition, still want to get them cheap. And they're best for booths. But there are some exceptions. So I looked up a few of them. So for one is from 1957. Shows this guy on the front cover with the pot plants around him from 1957. And that one sells for about 100 to 200 American.
Nice.
For that one. Another one is Maryland. I found anything within Maryland generally had more value, but the one I looked at was 1952, 150 to 200 bucks. Oppenheimer, the guy who did the
Yeah.
nukes,
Yeah.
1949, 100 to 150 bucks. And these are all in good condition, obviously, the ones I'm talking about.
Right.
Ernest Hemingway, 1952, 100 to 150, and Audrey Hepburn, 1953, 70 to 100 bucks.
Huh.
And these are just some of the better ones that I saw. You can sell them on lots, but I would say I would only pick them up if they're probably 30s, 40s, 50s. I'm sure there's exceptions, right? But in the 1960s and 70s and 80s, I wouldn't probably buy them blind unless they're, I don't know, a buck each or something like that.
Yeah.
Um,
Go
yep.
ahead.
I was gonna
I'd be interesting to hear Don's uh, like perspective on this, because she might be selling them more for advertisements and stuff like that.
Oh, I'm sure she chops them up.
Yeah.
Destroying the antique and vintage historical value of these magazines just to make a fast buck. I'm pretty sure that's what that's what's Don doing. But it makes sense. Adam does the same thing, right? He takes old books and takes the paper cutter to it just to take the old plates out of them, and people have been doing that forever and
Yeah.
putting plates in frames. So it's like scrap silver, right? Like sometimes the value isn't in the object, but actually just in the physical silver value. And grandma's old teaspoon that she had as a baby just gets thrown into the melting pot, right? It's just the way it is. What were you going to say?
For
Life magazines.
Well, I've had them before. They do sit for a little bit. I sell them out of the booth. I don't have any there right now. However, I think there's a few coming up in this book lot that I just bought. So we'll see. We'll see. I still got to go back and pick up more. So if there's any there, I'll probably just put them in the booth for $10 a piece, and then keep them there until I'm bored of seeing them, and then lot them up or put them in the auction, to see what
the next sucker.
see if there's not another sucker on there. But I don't know. There's our ads in there. People will go in for the ads. I think I don't know. There been so many produced. I think the secret would be to go for the older, the better.
Like I said, 30,
obviously
40,
if you got someone interesting in there, but I think if you want to go for ads and stuff like that, I didn't realize that it went as far back as the 1800s.
Well, I looked it up on Wiki because last time you started asking me questions, I figured, I better actually know some history of the magazine.
Okay.
I think it was a different type of magazine in that time period. I think in 1936, they concentrated more on photography.
Okay.
And so that's kind of I'm not saying the older ones don't have value. I'm just saying, doing my research, I'm concentrating more on when the style of the magazine changed. It's like what I was talking about cross stitch the other day, right? I'm talking about more quote unquote modern 70s, 80s, 90s cross stitch, not the ones that are 150 years old, right?
Yeah.
Different time periods. So, but I'll pick them up next time. They're big though. That's the only thing that's kind of annoying, I must admit, right?
Or they're that odd size for sure.
They're an odd size.
Yeah. Even for sleeves, I have to buy now it's not a big deal because I do use the sleeves for other things as well. But they do have, there's Life magazine size sleeves, which is a lot bigger than the regular magazine sleeves, right? Mm-hmm. So they're that odd size. They don't really fit in any kind of they don't fit properly in anything, a magazine rack or on a shelf. Annoying. Like they're just kind of odd size. So I'm not sure what the purpose of that was.
Why to be annoying?
To get halfway between a newspaper and a magazine, right?
Probably to grab attention.
Yeah.
But now it's just annoying. I can't believe they did this to us. Resellers years later, I was like, they should make them more convenient for us. It's like that's probably board games, eh? Every time I get a board game, they just pick whatever random size they felt like doing. And once in a while, there's a Scrabble one with a turntable, and it's actually quite quote unquote valuable. Like, I don't know, $40, $60, but it's so huge and a huge square, right?
Yeah.
It's annoying because if you have to ship that thing, Yet,
Yeah, you got a
like you don't have a
Frankenstein
box
auction.
like that. No one
Yeah.
has a box like that. So I leave them. I pretend not to see them often now. I didn't see that.
How do you pretend not to see anything?
I know.
Uh, yeah. So yeah, I don't know. I mean, if I got them super cheap or they were thrown in a bundle of stuff like these books, but I don't think I'd go out just to search them. It's interesting that you point out that there's a few that are in the $100 range, because I think if you were to get, pay $10 or less for a bunch of them on an auction, it'd probably be worth taking that chance, knowing that you're probably going to sell a few of them, or you could get your money back anyways. You know what I mean? So
Yeah, the only thing I can think of is if you're buying them at auction. Life magazines have been around such a long time. A lot of people might have learned about them,
yeah,
so it might be harder for like they probably know the ones that are in there that are good, but you never know. Like I've been surprised by things I bought at auction cheap. So if the right person, like you're saying with the D&D, if that other person, no one else is into D&D, you could get that lot worth $600, $700, $800 for like
yeah.
$50 if you're lucky, right?
And there are most households, like, they're not that old really, and people kind
No.
of, for whatever reason, those are one of the things that people collected. Like,
They held on
they
to.
they
Yeah.
held on to it, right?
That and
So,
National Geographic.
oh my god, National Geographic.
I have a whole box of unopened Natural Geographic I got from my parents for free.
Yeah,
Not even opened. And I could probably support half the house with those things.
yeah.
So yeah.
It's, I don't know. They're just so overproduced, right? Um, yeah, I don't know. I don't know what to say. I forget what I say.
That's a National
I just
Geographic
think
actually is another one of those.
you're gonna see them in all the homes, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, I see them a lot, but it's one of those things that do have an appeal. Not enough appeal or desire to buy them, but people see them and they kind of like, oh yeah, I think there's a nostalgic part there, but they
Mm.
don't really want it to read it. They just kind of like,
Look
oh,
at it.
look at the Life magazine. You know what I mean?
And then they don't buy it and it just sits there.
Yeah. It's kind of like, look at the puppy in the window.
Yeah.
It's so cute, but then you don't buy it because
No.
you
Look
got
at it.
4 dogs at home. No, we got two.
I remember grandma had one of those things. La,
Yeah,
la, 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 la. 3 hour discussion about it with you as a booth owner, and then they just walk away because they don't actually want
yeah, exactly. Right.
it.
So, um, but anyways, yeah.
So what's your bolo of the week?
Well, my bowl of the week, something I kind of knew about, but I never really. I mean, you don't see it that often, but you know what? I'm hopefully going to get it this weekend in this auction this week, and that's vehicle brand name tools. Now, be careful of that because not everything has got a ton of money, right?
Okay.
Like, I bought Ford wrenches and stuff like that, and they're a little bit harder to sell, even though they're just heavily produced here. But this Volkswagen toolbox, it,
Right.
like, right, it's branded Volkswagen on the box, but the tools are actually, I'm gonna get this. I think it's Hentiz or TZ or Hints or something, but it's German. But they're for Porsches, Volkswagen, Beetles. Um,
So the tools say this right across the tool. Like, how do
well,
you know it's for
it'll say Hints, hence something like that. It'll say that brand, but the toolbox itself has VW on it.
Can you spell that again? I'm gonna look it up while
Just
you're talking.
okay, just put in Volkswagen Beetle toolkit.
No, I was gonna look up the other tools.
It'll come up. That's where the hence
Okay.
the hence is the brand of the tools. But if you type in that, those tools will be in that kit. But there's Alfa Romeo, there's Porsche. Like, you'll find those around, right? Because did you find it?
I'm getting there, man.
Okay, so it's going to be round, almost like a frisbee size, but it's round like that. But you open it up, and then all the tools are inside of it. And but Porsche brand tools, look
Oh
those
yeah,
up.
I did find it. It is a miracle, but I did find it.
Yeah, they're made in Germany. They're a German brand.
I'd have
But
no
Harley
idea looking
Davidson
at
even
that.
can get you, $25 to $40 for a wrench.
Holy
That,
crap! Someone wants $2,700 for one.
yeah,
Where's this auction?
yeah, yeah, yeah. It's already over. It's already over. It was 2 months ago, buddy. I'm
Oh
just telling you
man!
now. Good luck.
Oh,
No,
I see it now. I see it now. Has it? Hazet.
yeah,
You'd have no idea looking at that. I'd have no idea. It's like, what the hell is this?
yeah, exactly. But if you look at the Porsche, just type in Porsche wrench. Like some of those can get $100 just for a wrench. Type in Alfa Romeo wrench. And there's more than just wrenches. Like there's different size wrenches. You could maybe even screwdrivers, um, pliers, but they're definitely wrenches. But or just put Porsche tools. Like it's insane what those things go for. Harley Davidson even can, like I said, for one wrench you get $25 to $40 for a Harley Davidson wrench,
Uh, yeah, there's some good value. Like I looked up Hazet
right?
tools.
So like for one wrench, if you're,
Ooh.
it's crazy, craziness.
My one of my friends, Charlie, at the flea market, he just does. That's all he does is tools.
Yeah.
I'll
Well,
tell him about this, but it'll
so
be
if
over.
you
The
ever,
auction will be over by the time I tell him though, so it'll be okay.
yeah, yeah. So if you if you ever get into a situation where someone's a real car person, car fanatic, and you start seeing like foreign cars, I think you got to look for these tools, right?
Yep.
Um, like just, I mean, everybody knows Snap-on. You got to go for the Snap-on, but I'm talking about automotive. I'm going to throw in Harley Davidson in this too, but like specialty automotive tools,
Well, let
like
me put it this way: this one screwdriver, a Hazet screwdriver, sold for 300 American,
yeah,
and that screwdriver, it's just a screwdriver.
just a screwdriver. It's got a blue handle, probably.
It's not. Yeah, just a blue. Look at you knowing
Yeah,
your
a
stuff.
light blue. Dude,
Yeah.
I'm looking for it now.
It's amazing.
Yeah,
That's crazy. And that's not best offer. That's what it sold for.
yeah.
I'm gonna add this guy. I'm gonna steal this guy's ideas. This seller here. How do I save them? Sorry, I
But
get distracted.
like, it's not something that you're always gonna find. It's not like I'm gonna find this every weekend. But dude,
No.
if you're starting to, like, you look for signs, right? So if this person's a car guy and he's got a bunch of Volkswagen service manuals, maybe even has like a Volkswagen or a Porsche in the garage, like an old, like, can be an older Porsche or whatever. Like, I mean, Porsches aren't overly expensive. They're very common, but those tools can be worth some good money. And I think they come in kits. Like you would have maybe like a jack in the back of the car with a spare tire. Like they might have put these tools might have come in there as a kit as well. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Yeah.
Because you use them for changing oil or whatever. Maybe they have special metrics. Probably not. I think it's just a tool. I don't know. Maybe they have special sizes that you actually have to use the factory tools. Like,
Probably to be annoying. Yeah.
yeah, right.
It's
So,
like when you get those electronics that have like this special screwdriver that only certain people have, and it's like, oh my god, what a pain in the
dude,
butt.
I had an old, like a, I don't know, I shouldn't say old. It was probably 80s, but it was a Thunderbird, maybe 70s, but it was a Ford, and the heater coil went in it. So we tried to change that. Well, you needed a special screwdriver that would be long enough, but it would have like a joint in it, and you'd have to get in up under the dash. To take the dash off, you needed that one screwdriver that only Ford's gonna have. Like it would, like,
That was their way of
yeah,
preventing you from fixing your own stuff.
it prevented you from fixing your own stuff. Like it was insane, right? So I had my uncle; he was out there helping me, and we pretty much got everything off except for this one screw in the middle of the dash, and you needed a special screwdriver. Like it was so bad. Like, but So they could have it so that I don't know enough about that. I just know what to look for now, right?
This
So
is what they did before right to repair. Where they couldn't lock it software wise, they just locked it hardware
they
wise.
just locked the hardware right, you know, or pay $2,000 for the tool set or $2,000 for the mechanic to fix it. Like,
Yeah, which one? And you're gonna use that tool once in your life.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, and you're probably going to get it wrong anyway. So, maybe that's why they do it, right? You got to take it to the
Oh,
mechanic and
oh
get it
no,
done
that is why they do it.
properly.
There's no
So,
there's no doubt in my head. They yeah, it's like because it pain for them too. What I
I
kind of
guess
find
I guess if you're buying a brand new Porsche and that's all they care about, the used cars, they don't care. But if you're buying a brand new Porsche, you got money. You're not fixing your own car. You know,
no.
the guys that are fixing their own cars are the ones that are buying them used.
Do,
You know,
do you remember when you first got your license and was thinking about buying a car? And you look through the magazine and see all these Porsches and stuff like for $1,500 or $800. And you're like, wow, I can get a Porsche for
yeah,
500 or $1,000.
yeah. No engine.
Yeah. Or like it's just one little flaw won't start. It's like, oh, we can get that fixed at the repair shop and like
Yeah.
it's $10,000 to get it fixed or something.
Meanwhile, the previous owner blew in the engine because he was like, hammering on it and driving
Yeah.
fast. And
Oh my god, the fancy.
have you ever watched Condor Man?
No.
Well, those are the little black Porsches. They were the bad guys had the Porsches. Go watch Condor Man. It's I think it's a Disney movie, but I watched it when I was a kid. It was pretty fun. Um, it was kind of like a superhero, but he was kind of okay. What it was this guy was in New York City was a comic. He made comics, and the comic was Condor Man. But then he ended up becoming the real Condor Man, and
Oh, who did it star?
it had some like 70s
Okay,
kind of
I might
stars in it, but I can't really remember them.
I think I saw a remake of that.
A remake, really?
Okay,
I remember it because we went to watch when I was younger. We went to watch. I don't know. I was like 10 years old or something. We went to watch a cartoon or something at the drive-in, but Condor Man was on after, and it was like this is the best movie ever. Like it was so good. But anyway, there were black Porsches. I don't know. There's 5 or 10 of them, and they would chase Condor Man around, and he would have a Condor Man car, which was probably a Lamborghini or a Ferrari, kind of souped up to look kind of superhero
Yeah,
ish, and then these guys would have the black Porsches. It was,
1981.
yeah. And I would have been 11 then, so we went to the drive-in. So
Cool.
yeah, Condor Man, it was awesome. But um, like when you're 11 years old watching that, like that was awesome. Like
When I was that age, I used to think like Knight Rider was the best thing ever, and now
yeah,
you watch it and you're like, oh my god, we had no good taste at all.
nah, Condor Man still stands
It
time.
still stands okay.
Yeah,
Back to reselling for a second. I know. What I find interesting, like I was looking at this guy's store, is all the manuals too. Like for cars, like
yeah.
I knew manuals have value, but whenever I looked at them, they never have value. So I'm just picking the wrong cars, I guess. You have to know, like it looks like pickup trucks and stuff like that might have more value, but I'm not sure. I'm just kind of looking here.
Pickup trucks, for the most part, I think do the older ones. I just think that's because we're in, North America, and that's kind of, you know, who doesn't like a good old Chevy pickup, you know?
Yeah.
Because
Okay.
I drive a Chevy pickup.
I know. I'm looking at all the trucks, and they're all like, this guy's selling them for $100 each. These manuals, so. But
Well, you know what also sells well, and I do sell them, and I still have a bunch is the old brochures too, the dealer
mm,
brochures.
yeah,
But
I
they're like a
remember.
dime a dozen, right? Like there's
Yeah,
actually a lot of them out there, but if you get
yeah,
certain ones, certain ages, like the older the better for the most part,
yeah.
they can do very well. Um, but my bolo would be to look out for the tools,
The
for the
tools.
branded tools. And like I said, if it says Ford on it, it's probably not going to be worth much, maybe $5. But it seems to be the foreign, like I don't know, Fiat might be one, but Alfa Romeo for sure, Porsche, and definitely Volkswagen.
All
And
I'm gonna remember
those,
from this is
those
light blue
Volt,
handles.
what's that? The blue
All I can
handles.
remember is light
Like,
blue handles.
yeah,
Yeah, it's a quick
yeah,
way of just starting in that, because otherwise, it's so I'm not going to sit there and look at every tool. It's like, is this like, I know you said if they have those vehicles or have a lot of that stuff, then look right.
yeah.
Because if you look through random tools, you're going to go absolutely bonkers.
Well, the wrenches are probably bringing you more money than the screwdrivers.
But I have a
I
camper
don't know
keyboard
for sure, but
screwdriver.
some wrenches, like especially if
Oh
there's
yeah,
a set of 3 or 4, right?
yeah.
Different sizes. There's a set. You're probably looking at 600, 700.
Oh yeah. No, there's a wrench here, like a few of them going for $200, right?
Yeah. So don't
Uh,
look out for the wrench. Like, don't
but
just look for screwdrivers. Look.
I know, but my point being, I'll notice the blue handle one.
Oh, okay.
Like when I look at these, has it? This guy didn't even put wrench in their title. How did you, how do you sell that without the wrench? Anyways, they just look like normal wrenches. They could be Craftsman as far as I can tell looking at them.
Yeah.
But the blue handle stuff definitely stands out. So not that I'm likely to ever see it, but yeah, it's a great bolo. I like that bolo. That's your best bolo yet.
Really?
I think so. For me, it
Wow.
is.
Wow. Toy soldier. But
Right. But this is the stuff that hides a little bit too. Like, I'm not saying tool people wouldn't know this. I'm just saying there's a chance of actually,
I don't know if two people really care. They're going to just grab tools for the most part. I think they will care. Like, they'd be happy to be in there, but I think they're going to buy tools no matter what, right? Like, if it's Husky or Mastercraft or whatever, I think tools, some of those guys just, I don't know what they do with them, to be honest with you. But they buy tons of tools.
I think it's one of those things is never enough. Like if
Yeah.
you're into that, it's like woodworkers with like 1,000 different saws, or what's a good example? Like me metal detecting, I have 3 or 4 different metal detectors. It's like it gets to be a problem.
Yeah. Yeah. Because if I could be considered a tool guy because I sell tools,
You're
but I
definitely
wouldn't
a
buy
tool,
any of the tools that those guys are buying because I just
right?
see them all the time. Like
Right.
I'd be like overwhelmed with tools. I still have tons of tools in the garage that just sit there. You know what I mean? But
There's so many tools I've never even used.
but if I was to be looking for a specific tool,
Yeah.
like I'm definitely going to be on the lookout for these ones now for sure.
Nice.
And I'll let you know next week how I did at the auction if I got that or not.
So you ready for the next bit?
What time is it now, Carl?
It's time for comments.
Time for comments. Yeah, I got the Spotify ready.
Awesome.
So, so we'll I guess we'll do the Spotify ones first.
Yep. And by we mean you.
It's a team effort, Carl.
I'll listen.
There is no I in team. Yes, there is. Anyway. Okay. So we'll go to the first one here, the Tina Mac. Facebook. So RE. What's RE period? It would be a short form for
Reference, I think.
reference. Okay.
Yeah, I think so.
Facebook. I just have a can. Oh, so this is referring to what she does for the porch pickup. So I just have a can in my pickup bin, and I'm assuming that's for the money. What's funny is the city people always take a picture to show they left the money. Oh, okay. They can't believe that I have the system. I do a lot of e-transfers. Once they've paid, it's not on me to pick up. They come when they want. I'm French, and the Serge pronunciation is hilarious. You'll get it one day. What?
Serge.
Sayage. Hey, oh, wait a second. Say it. Don't say it right yet, but I'm going to say it. I think because I was practicing it in the truck when I'm listening. So if his ears are ringing, is it because I'm like saying his name 50 times here? So say it, Carl.
Serge.
Oh, now you're saying it differently.
No, not Serge.
So I was if I put it into two syllable to pronounce syllable like pronunciation it's two. So Serge. And if you say it quickly, it's Siraj.
Serge.
Sayaj. Sayaj.
No.
Oh, that's what it was. Say Aj.
There's only
Sayaj.
one. There's only
Sayaj.
one
Sayaj. It's two.
Serge.
Sayaj.
Well, it's two if you say it wrong.
Oh, God. You say it again.
I can't pronounce words, so I'm not throwing any stones. I can't pronounce half the words. I've
Sayaj.
worried so many words because I can't
Because I
pronounce
was
them.
like, this is easy. Because you just say Aj. Okay, Aj.
Serge.
Aj. You're telling me to
Serge.
say Aj? So,
Whatever. He's gonna get over it. Everyone else is
because I
like, "Oh
was
my
thinking,
god, stop talking about this."
so what should I say? Say
Serge.
Aj. Aj.
You practice a bit more. We'll try again next week.
You get it? You get it? Say Aj. Okay, Aj.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. So I thought that would be the proper way to say it. Say Aj.
Nope.
I think that's right.
Okay.
Tina Mac, you can help me out with this one too. So it's 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 just, I don't know, like to say words in a different language. I think you always have that. I don't know if it's an accent or the way of pronouncing things. That,
Nothing.
like, okay, listen. Put it this way: if
Right.
I could speak fluently French,
Right.
people who spoke French their whole life is going to notice that I'm saying things improperly. Like,
Mm-hmm.
my buddy was Portuguese
Mm-hmm.
and he learned English, but he would know a little Portuguese from listening to his parents and uncles and aunts. So he could speak the language, but they knew he didn't speak like fluently Portuguese. You know what I mean? Because
Right.
he still had that English kind of, I don't know if you'd say, you
Accent.
know what, the
Yeah.
English influence in his speech. You know what
Like
I mean?
like
So
Montreal. We say Montreal. It's Montreal or something like that, right?
yeah, so you're
Like
gonna.
I always say Montreal because that's the anglophone version of that. But Montreal is what you'll hear in Montreal, right? So
So I just think it has, like, it just twists on the brain. So if someone, okay, put it this way, if someone who just spoke French their whole life, but then they learned a few English words, there would be that accent that you could tell that they were French or
yeah,
any.
it's also just experience of knowing. Like edit. What is it called? In Toronto, Edibook or Edibook or Edibook or
I don't know. I just,
Etiboke or something like that.
dude,
I
I
say
know
it so
this,
wrong. You don't even know what I'm talking about.
but I know this. Like, when I went to school, like the primary, like, I guess
Etobicoke.
we did have
Etobicoke.
French classes too, but
Yeah.
I didn't even do well in English.
No, I can barely
So,
speak English. I'm not even kidding.
yeah,
It's
so
my only language. I can barely speak it. So
exactly. So if I had problems doing that, like, throw another language in
Sam
there.
doesn't give a crap. I talked to him. He's like, whatever you're trying. It's hard, right?
No, I for sure. I
Yeah.
think it's good.
I try like one of my best friends her name is Laura, but I always said Lara. And now I just call her Lara. She just gave up trying to correct me. And I've known her for like 40 years.
Dude, this was so embarrassing. When I was doing that TV show thing,
Yeah.
the like, I did those like, I spoke on 5 different items. So the last day I did, or sorry, the second last day I had to do one. Like, I did back to back, and then the last day I did 2, and I had to cram each day. So my brain was so tired, and this woman was the last one in the series. It was the last show of the series that we're recording, and it was obviously my last one. But I had just crammed back to back nights, and this one I had just finished one up, took a half an hour break, and then we went back into it and finished up the last episode. So just to give you perspective, and her name was Dan. I'm not even going to say it right. Dinah was her last name, and I could not pronounce Dinah.
Hmm.
I kept saying it wrong. Diana. There was one time, so the director's like, think of it as Dino, but dine, and instead of the O, put the ah. So I'm like, well, welcome to the today's show, Dino. Dude, my brain was shut right down. I couldn't
Yeah, you were
pronounce her
done.
name, and
Yeah.
it was so embarrassing. And the more you get flustered with this,
Yes. Yeah.
the worse it gets.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like now I'm stumbling through everything, and now I'm embarrassed. I got all these lights on me, the camera guy,
Yeah.
people want to go home. It's the last episode.
Yeah.
It's like,
Get the line out, Scott.
get the line out, and now I'm forgetting my lines that I researched
Oh,
because I was
yeah.
up till midnight, 1 o'clock in the morning, studying and getting the information. It was so embarrassing, and I couldn't get her name right. I could not get it right. It was so bad. But anyway, we got through it. By the way, that season is out. Anybody on the West
Oh,
Coast, on the East Coast,
yeah.
it's Fast and Curious. Right now, it's on Eastlink. There are rumors that it could come out to. I looked it up. I haven't seen it yet, but it's going to come out to. Maybe I shouldn't say what. Anyway, it's well known streaming companies. I'll just leave it at that. But right now, it's on Eastlink, and season 7, Fast and Curious. So Randy probably get it. People out in the East Coast will probably be able to get it. So anybody with Eastlink, which is, I don't know, maybe the East Coast has a lot of it. Not too many people have it here, I don't think. But there is, I don't know, maybe there is a. I think our internet runs off Eastlink. I know it does. So anyway, Sayage. I'm pretty sure that's correct. Sayage. All right. So, well, I'm glad you find the comedy in this, Tina, because I'm really trying. I really try. And I appreciate it for sure. You'll get it one day. Oh, thanks, Tina. And you know what? Thanks so much for the comments. I really
every week. Thank you.
We have another one here from Adam Wakefield. I'll be honest, if I'm buying something on eBay and it's between US and Canada and they're close to the same price, I'm going to buy from the US.
Yes.
The figure it will be less hassle.
Yeah.
Adam, I totally get that for sure.
It's the same for us. Like we'll buy off if the price is the same, I'll buy off Canadians, less hassle.
I don't know. I don't really look for it. I don't buy on eBay. I probably should. I don't really buy anything other than supplies, so I really just get them off Amazon. But honestly, I don't know where they're coming from. They get here pretty quick, so I'm assuming it's probably Canada. It's probably like from their system out here.
For Amazon, you mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, you actually we talked about this last week, but you actually be a little careful. Sometimes they'll say there might be duties involved. So you have to watch out for that little asterisk sometimes when you're buying now. So annoying. Anyways, let's keep going. I don't want to talk about that again. So
no, that's fine. But I do agree with Adam in that, if they have a choice, they're going to buy from their.
I try to hide it from Americans that were Canadian. I admit it.
You know what? My stuff's so good. It don't matter. They're buying no matter where they're from.
Even if you want to block them, they're still buying from you.
Yeah. If they get too carried away with the buying, I just block them. But all right. Thanks, Adam, so much for that. And that's good insight. Good to know because, I mean, it's just confirming what our suspicions were anyways. For sure. And all right, Carl.
Oh, is that it for the Spotify?
Yep.
Okay, so for the first one from the YouTube, from Doing It Wrong.
Okay, I'm going to try to just pull it right off the phone here without taking pictures because Don will make fun of me. How many comments are we seeing here?
5. Dawn didn't even comment, so
I wonder if it didn't pick it up again.
Who knows?
Okay, so who are you going for first?
Doing It Wrong. Cross stitch, Cruel, latch hook, etc. kits were super popular in the 1970s. If you get a bunch for cheap, you're looking at about $15 a piece. Cool things like mushrooms, owls, or other kitschy stuff can get up to like $50 to $70 depending on what it is. Yeah, That it's very true. Like even generally, if I see mushrooms or owls out in the
Yeah.
wild for other stuff, I might pick it up. Not all the time. It depends on my mood. Uh, many times it can be already. Many times it can already be a finished piece. It's a whole niche. Cruel, Crewel, and such is basically a gateway drug to knitting and quilting. Machine embroidery is like the hardcore drugs. If you get some quality machine embroidery stuff, you can make some real money off of it. So I'm not even like I've seen. Is he talking about like sewing machines? Not sewing machines, knitting machines. Have you ever seen those? Like the super long ones? Is that what he's talking about? Do you think there with machine embroidery?
Machine embroidery is like the hardcore drug. Um,
I'm not sure what he's referring to there. Um, I know those machines can be valuable. I've seen them, but I didn't want to deal with them. Oh no, it's something different. It's something different. I never noticed that
I
part.
don't know because honestly, I I don't know enough to know the difference. Maybe I should learn that. Like embroidery to me, I think you can kind of tell, but I don't know the values of it for sure. Um,
It looks like a sewing machine, but it does embroidery. So from
like
what I understand,
he's is he machine embroidery? Is he talking about the finished product or the machine?
well, I think he's talking probably maybe the kits that you use for those things. I don't know. It's something I'll look it up after the show. I don't know, so I'm not
Yeah.
going to look it up now.
Hey, that could be a great bolo.
Exactly.
I just look for older stuff that's framed. Like I mean I sold a peacock for like $100 and it was I think I called it needlepoint. I might have used embroidery too. There was a Guatemalan design. It was like an embroidery thing. It was so long ago, but I sold that for I think I got $125 for that. But it was really cool. I might have got $150. It had cats in it and different funkiness to it, but it looked very folky, very folk arty. Like,
Mm.
you know what I mean? So it might have been done by hand. I don't know. I don't know. Um, but it was definitely a stitch type thing.
Yeah.
It had neat colors to it, like it was whites and pinks and blues, and you know, uh, kind of like how you can have a phone that's turquoise or pinks, and those kind of bring more money cameras and stuff. Like it kind of had that kind of look
Yeah.
to it, feel to it. But all right, what's the next one that you see, Carl?
Doing it wrong again. Do you want to say this one?
Scott, I'm with Nova Scotia Celt. Why haven't you blocked this jackass already? Oh, okay. That should have been done months ago. Are you doing it so that you have some drama to talk about? And where did Farm Girl Scavenger come in here? All the like laughing
Emojis. Yeah.
emojis, right? Um, well, I mean, drama's fun too. I mean, it's one of those guys that you don't want totally gone because he will spend money, but at the same time, like I don't want to feel pressure to give my stuff away for $30 a piece when some of it's going for 45 or $60. You know what I mean? I'd
Hmm.
rather let those soldiers play out first. That's all I'm saying, right?
Dude, it matters what you paid for the thing. If you're making a profit, you should getting it out of your house. It should be a good.
Well, see, but I look into a little bit more, Carl, because these things are selling fast as it is,
Oh, okay. Okay.
right? So it's not like they're lingering like Smurfs would or something, but
Okay.
but in uh, it's a difference of it can be I could lose more than what this guy's paying for it. You know what I mean? Like if I got $80 on something,
Yeah.
I don't want to lose $50 just because
No.
this guy's bought four other items from me. You know what I mean? Like,
Well, I was asking 7 for my Smurfs and he wanted $3. So what can I say?
yeah, well, you say what you want to say, buddy. But it's just, it's good to see Farm Girl Scavenger in here too. But uh, so I don't want him to go away. I just want him just to be a little bit more patient and wait it out. You know, you either buy it at this price or you wait it out. That's all. That's all I'm saying.
So did he buy any more?
Yeah,
Oh, so after the comment about blocking him, he did buy more.
yeah. He bought four
Okay.
hundred and something dollars worth,
Oh, okay.
but
Good.
he wanted. He did the same thing. Like he bought 11. He goes, we'll put $15 US, which comes out to about $20 Canadian. I think $21. He goes, so I'll do $15 US shipping, and I'll do each of these for, I don't know, come out to $30 Canadian for each soldier,
And you
right?
were asking how much again? 40?
Well, some I was asking 30. I think everything's 35, but then there was a couple that I put 40. There was one I did put 64.95 on it. Um, okay, listen. Okay, we'll just get right into the meat and
I
potatoes.
don't judge you. I
Okay,
just trying to
so
understand.
this is the thing. So he buys 11. We agree on a shipping cost. He goes, throw this one in too, and then he goes, how about these two? And then he ends up buying 15. So now we're at 15 for $20 shipping because he's throwing these in.
He has you so pegged, by the way.
Well, no, he doesn't, Carl, because this is the
Okay.
problem.
Okay.
He's going to miss out on better stuff. You know what I mean?
Okay.
Like, so these are the lower the they're not with the original packages. These
No.
particular ones that he's bought,
Yeah.
they're 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 not lower. They're not so much lower end. They're John Jenkins designs, but they don't have the packages, um, which is very very important. So it's not like, put it this way: if they had their foam inserts, their boxes, all that kind of stuff, they're not. He's not getting them for $30. He didn't get them for $30 last time. He's not getting them for $30 now. So the $30 is kind of iffy. It's kind of like okay, they could sit for a while because they don't have their original pack. Where are we going with this, right? So it's fine. The problem is some of them are selling, but some of them won't sell, and I don't know which ones are very desired or not. You know what I mean.
Yeah.
So am I happy with $30? Yes, but do I want them to sit for a little bit and marinate and get the higher amount, which might take a week or two? That would be nice too. So I don't want them to go away. It's just like, dude, don't hammer me so hard on these. I just listed them. Let them sit for a few minutes, right? So I actually put like, we'll do it this way here right now. I had said no on a few of them, especially a bigger box one with the foam insert, guy on a horse and stuff. So that one was a no. And I let him know that I wanted these to sit for a while. And I said they're selling so fast, I don't want to take more than 10-15% off. So,
Oh, okay. Well, that's good.
yeah.
You just told him. That's fine.
But I don't mind them buying the little cheaper ones
Right.
because they're little cheaper ones without the package. So it's kind of like, okay, you're hitting me a little hard on them, but I really kind of like, I'm not too concerned about these because of this. They're not in it. Also, I have a bunch that do have some paint chips and stuff on them. And
Yeah.
he said he would be interested then. He said that before post office strike. So I do want him to come back because I'm going to sell those ones to him for, very good prices because he fixes them up, right? So you got, I feel like I'm playing him. You know what I mean? Like I'm giving him the carrot for a little bite of the carrot, but then I yank the carrot right back up, and I want to lead him for further on down the road.
Uh huh.
So sometimes, so it's fine. You know what I mean? But there are ones that I'm definitely not going to sell for cheap
Okay.
because they do well. So I don't know what you're trying to get at. There's a big smile on your face. I don't know.
I just enjoying watching you flail a little bit. You know.
I'm not flailing, dude.
No,
I
no, no, no. It's okay. It's
I
okay.
spent $450
Yeah.
on toy soldiers,
Yeah.
15 of them. that I have nothing into.
Dude, I'm just jealous. I'm just trying to get the pleasure where I can here. Give me a break. Give me a break.
But I don't understand where you're getting pleasure. Like I don't. This is what gets me. I don't know what you're trying to get at, so I'm trying to explain it, but I don't understand.
I'm the one who said you should never block them. Everyone else is saying you should block them. I'm like, no, this is good. So I have no problem with any of
So if you look at the, I did the thumbnail on that one because I thought it was kind of neat. Like I thought it was kind of like a clickbaity.
Yeah,
Scott, he spent $5,000 worth of your stuff. I know, Carl, but he's making me work for it, so I'm gonna block him.
Yeah, exactly.
It's to me that's wrong, but I thought I'd make myself look wrong by saying that, and I just thought it was funny cartoon.
It was great.
Next week, but
oh jeez,
I'm like,
hit the wrong button. You're all flustered now. You're hitting buttons. You're playing your old podcasts.
All right, so
I'll do the next one.
Okay, well, when's the next one?
From Carver Man 613 or Serge. Hey Scott, don't worry about Serge pronunciation. I tell people if they ever watch Beverly Hills Cops with Eddie Murphy, there was a character called Serge Bronson Pinchot. Also, my wife.
You butcher that name.
I'm horrible pronouncing. I could even pronounce the word pronunciation without slowing down. So I'm the worst. Also, my wife learned Parisian French in school, and she can nail my name really well when she's mad at me.
Wow, nice. Yeah.
Oh, and thank you, Sal. She gave me a couple of GI Joes on the weekend. That was really nice of him.
Yeah, I know I say this last year and stuff, but things get busy. But I really like to go to Quebec to go to some of the flea markets where they have a lot of folk art.
Mm.
So I got to talk to my buddy who goes down there. He actually goes and sells stuff there too. And find out exactly what market it is, but I'll let Serge know, and then I can go listen to him pronounce his name so I can get it right. There you go.
God.
But I'll let you know when that is if that happens this year.
If I think of it, I'll record it this weekend if I see him, which I usually do, and I'll play it back. So then you'll know. Straight from the horse's mouth.
What I'll do. If I go, he'll say it then. That's fine. I don't want to embarrass him, and then he doesn't listen to us or anything.
I think he's going to be okay. He's thick skin.
But actually, in all honesty, if I do go down there, I got your email, and I'll message you. But I don't even know what show it is he goes to. But apparently, there's a lot of like neat folk art and stuff there. Montreal is very into that folk art, wood carving stuff.
Yeah, there's a lot of great stuff there. It's funny. It's 2 hours away.
That's kind of what I like that stuff too. So I'd like to even just learning. I don't care if I even buy anything. I just to go and see it.
Mm-hmm.
So
I was watching an interesting video just yesterday. It was talking about trends in antique markets for this year or reselling for this year, and one of them was folk art is coming back up a lot. He mentioned a whole bunch of things. It was kind of interesting. Art Deco, Art Nouveau. He said even Victorian furniture is coming back a bit. Mid-century modern is going down a bit.
What's coming back there, Carl?
Art Nouveau,
furniture.
Art Deco.
What?
Victorian furniture,
which is a dime a dozen.
That's what he said. He says a dime a dozen is great, but it's like it's starting to come back a bit, right? Because it was really you could buy for.
All right.
I'm just saying what the video said. I don't know.
Right.
I don't know. What was now you've distracted me. I can't remember all the other stuff. It was just I'm not saying he's right. It was just a fun video though. I think he was pulling the information from the surveys they did in the antique magazines.
Oh, that's probably when they interviewed me back in the day.
They did talk about Canadians, yeah. Okay, that's one comment left, and I'll leave it all for you.
So we're going in different order than what I have here, but I do have Randy's here that we haven't mentioned. Is that
Yeah,
the one here?
that's
That's left.
one. That's
Okay.
the last one. Yeah.
Because honestly, the order is different with what I'm seeing. So Randy, Nova Scotia Celt 5218. What is wrong with you guys? Under 2 hours again.
Yeah. Well, don't
Well,
worry. I think this one's over too.
yeah,
So
we're not disappointing you now. Just kidding, kinda. Concerning concerning the guy buying all the toy soldiers and complaining, block the dude. He is taking too much of your headspace. Wow, the
yeah,
butterhead.
he's totally in Scott's head. Yeah,
He's
I
not
agree.
my
I agree
head.
with you,
Dude,
Randy.
if it wasn't for this show, I wouldn't even mention him. The Bahu claimed there was a hole in the pot. Oh yeah,
I
oh
forgot
I
about that.
remember that. That got into my head. In the pocket for a couple of days. Then it was over. Reminds me of the buyer who said a hardcover graphic novel was damaged on shipping, and he sent me a picture. But at the edge, I could see the same book laying on this table. What? The
Oh my
butthead you
god.
claimed, okay, reminds me of a buyer who said the hardcover graphic novel was damaged in shipping, and he sent me a picture. But at the edge, I could see the same book lying on the table. So he just wanted to switch it out for a damaged
Yeah.
one.
Yeah.
Which one was mine? Question mark. I gave him a partial refund just to avoid a negative feedback. Scott, you may have experienced sales decline because of dropping promotion fees from 10 to 5%. It was only within that 24-hour period. Like I didn't like over the long term. There, like over the week, there was not a drop in sales. It was just within. It seemed to. I think you said it, Carl. Shut a switch off
So
or
there
turned a
can
switch
be
on.
re-indexing that might occur. That's the only thing I can like when you drop it like that, it might have to reorder your listings. And that is I'm guessing they probably do it like once a day, which would make sense of why it's dead for 24 hours.
Oh,
I'm just guessing though. I have no idea how they do it, but it
well,
kind of
it's
makes
weird
sense.
because some I'll put no promoted listings, some I'll put 10, depending on how many's available, and some I'll put
Yeah.
5. So
It's the change that does it though. When you change it, like when you do originally for 10, right? It goes out there and makes all the listings. Okay, let's order all the listings, and you're at 10%. You're at 10, right?
yeah.
It decides what your ranking is then, but it probably recalculates that once a day is what I'm guessing.
Well,
And so when
why
you
if I
change it, I'm wondering if it eliminates you from any promotions. Like it just says you're not promoting. Rather than you had it at 10, now you put it down to 1 and then you get a free 24 hours at 10 kind of thing. But I'm just guessing. I don't actually know how they do it.
okay, that is interesting, but there's some items I don't put any. Like my toy soldiers, I don't think I'm putting any now because what I was seeing was people were coming back and buying because they had bought from me in the past, and
Yeah.
they were still selling, getting it was eBay was still getting a promoted listing fee out of it. When I know that wasn't being sold because of promotion, it was getting sold because a person was coming back to my store and
Yeah.
buying more of what they've already bought.
The rules always change for that. And I haven't been paying a lot of attention. But I think if you promoted something and then you remove promotion, I think there's like a time period where it's still like you'll have to pay that fee, and I'm not sure what that time period
Well,
is.
it can't be more than 24 hours because that was the most I've gone without that sale. It just was coincidental. I was actually maybe just kind of bugging you because you told me not to, you don't promote anything. So
I
I'm
don't
like,
promote anything. I think it's a
my
sucker's
joke
game.
was, Carl, you convinced me to do this, and now I'm getting no sales, right? Like it was kind of just joking.
Until you save 10% by taking it off, or 5%. I guess when you went from 10 to 5, you said, right?
Yeah. So the toy soldiers, I think I stopped even promoting at all because they were the same people coming back.
Yeah.
And then,
eBay money for nothing.
but there was other things that I was obviously listing as well, and those things I had dropped to 5%. But it just was coincidental that as soon as I called eBay to say about this, concerning about this guy having issues buying with me because of the conversion rate, and he was getting confused.
Oh yeah.
So I called eBay, and it's funny how as soon as I did that call, I think 3 items sold within an hour or something after that call.
It's so hard to tell if it's just a fluke or if or it affected it. Like I don't.
So, like, let's be honest, okay? Like, we have a show that we have to discuss things on eBay. It's not like it plays on my brain where I can't get over it and I'm, haven't moved on. It's just things that I discuss for the sake of discussing. But in this situation, it was a little coincidental that I had dropped it, and mainly because of the advice of Carl, that he does. So I had, okay, you know what? Let's drop
Uh-huh.
this a little bit because I don't want to give 10% every single time. Blah blah blah.
No, I,
But
I encourage you to do it
yeah,
because the more the CEO gets paid, the better it is for me.
okay, ha 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 ha. But anyway, at the realistic thing, realistically, what I'm saying is that I'm just trying to kind of feel out. Now, I do think if there's a lot of competition
Yes.
in an area,
Yes.
like I just listed some photographs. Now, the photographs are unique, but they are under the umbrella of photographs, I think.
Yes. Yeah.
So I put 10% on those photographs,
There, I believe promotions makes it a difference. Yes.
right? But my Toll Soldiers, a lot of the people are coming back. It's the same people
Yeah.
buying a lot. I see a lot of
Yeah.
the same names week after week after week. Like these guys,
Yeah. To me, there's no point in promoting there.
right? And then if they start slowing down, then I can go back and I can promote those listings.
Because what is the
Later on.
purpose of promoting? What is the purpose of promoting?
Well, I think it's to push your items to the top.
Right.
Right.
So if it's selling anyways,
Yeah.
then why promote? So that's what drives me nuts. Like, like that Volkswagen toolbox you're talking about?
Yeah.
Would you promote that?
Probably 5% at the most, if not nothing.
I would say nothing, because there's not like 1,000 of them out there, right? If someone's looking for that toolbox, right?
Yeah.
It's going to show up. I don't know how many for sale, but maybe 3. Like I didn't look, but your listing is still going to be so visible anyways. To me, in my opinion, if you put 5% on that, you're just giving away money for nothing.
So
but if
what
you're
I
doing
would probably
postcards,
do in that situation, let's just say there's 3 available.
Right.
And mine was in comparison in that, like, we're all complete sets. Like I know the one I'm looking at right now is complete.
Right.
But if someone's selling it for $1,400 but it's not complete, I'm gonna raise mine above that
but
list.
There's only 3. So, if you search for that, there's only 3 listings that are returning. Sorry, go ahead. I can see your. Go ahead.
Yeah. So what I'm saying is, let's look at Adam's comment for a second. Okay. So I'm in competition with 3. If someone's buying from the US, which I'm going to suspect most likely that is going to go to the US. Not necessarily, but 90% of my buyers, 85% are US. So I'm going to assume it's going to be a US buyer.
Yeah.
So I am, let's just say $2,000 is kind of where everybody's selling them at. I might come under at 1,700, no promoted listing. Because my theory is I want to entice them enough to buy from Canada. Will that $300 difference make a difference? It's hard to say because someone's paying $2,000. Now it becomes about condition and reliability because money's probably not an object. However, I'd probably reduce the price a little bit and not promote it. I don't need it pushed up, but I do need to entice people to buy me from Canada over someone in the US. Whatever that enticement is. That's just kind of where I'm going at. Listen, I'm thinking if I pay $100 or less for this item, this is where I'm going. If I got to pay $500 for this item, now it's a different ballgame. You know what I mean? I'm going to be forced to have to get that higher dollar amount. And if somebody offers $1,700, then I'll revisit that amount. You know what I'm saying? Like there's a whole game here.
That's interesting mental thing you're talking about there. Because like for me,
but if I was to buy this thing, and sure, okay, they're around $2,000 is the average, is what people are asking, and it seems to sell at. And again, I'm just throwing out numbers but let's just say there's 100 of those.
Oh, that's a different ballgame then.
Yes, now it's a different ballgame. Now I'm probably going to put, and I paid $100 for this. Now I'm probably looking at, okay, probably 10% promotion, and I'm going to have to do $700 discount. You know what I mean? or sorry, $300, $1,700 price tag, and hopefully I get $1,500. I just want to sell it and move on, get my money and move on, right?
And in that case, I understand promoting a bit more
Yes.
because you said
So,
there's a whole bunch of competition. It's
right.
when people, like I said, I've always said the same thing. It's when people are promoting things that has very little competition. I've never had it clearly explained to me why you would want to do that.
Well, because everyone puts the fear that you're not going to sell unless, like, I can understand. So I can understand people wanting to sell and keep going. I'm just kind of realizing that, and I think there's no right or wrong, Carl. I think you just feel this out and you go with what works best for you, right? If somebody wants to put promoted listings of 10% across the board, or they're recommended, sometimes it's 12, 15%. Sometimes it's 7. If it's 7, I'm not putting 10. I'm going to keep it at their 7 recommended. But anyway, I don't have a problem with what people do. They do whatever that works for them. I'm just saying with me, and I think we've digressed a little bit for the reason me saying this, so I'll bring it back. But for me, I'm going to evaluate each item differently based on condition, selling it, like how many is available, the chances of selling it. So toy soldiers, no promoted listings, they're selling themselves. I don't need to even worry about them. US is buying them everything. It doesn't matter. But everything, like the photos, everything's going to have its own little strategy behind it. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
But I think it boils down at the very end of the day what you pay for the item. That's for me. That's my most important. Everything else is just
Well, to me, that's
it's
important
just a
too.
game. The first thing that's most important is not to overpay on the item.
That is also important.
Yeah.
I just use
Everything that takes care of itself eventually, other than paying for the item. If you pay too much in the long run, it's a bad situation.
I also agree that's true. Yeah.
But not necessarily on every single item, but I'm going to say 95%, maybe 99% of the time it's true, right? There might be something like I felt I paid up for that sign. I paid basically 50%.
The Quaker
The,
one?
the big one.
Yeah.
But I kind of had an idea of what it's worth. I confirmed it going through a friend of mine who said what it's worth in that condition. I didn't mind it sitting for a little bit, and my whole purpose of that one was pretty much to double the money, and it was worth it because it was a couple $100 double. You know what I mean? So
Mm-hmm.
it's not like I'm, I don't know. It's not like I'm buying something for $75 to sell it for 100. You know what I mean?
Oh no.
I'm doing the double. I'm getting $200 out of this. It's going to look good in the booth.
Mm-hmm.
Somebody
Mm-hmm.
will eventually will buy it, and there was a lot of other variables that came into play on that one.
Mm-hmm.
But for the most part, it's all about what I pay for it and how I want to go from there. I don't know. We kind of digressed quite a bit from that one.
Yeah, because we were talking about promoting,
Yeah.
and then you got to how
Well,
much you buy
promote.
stuff for, and then in the booth selling, which is not promoting, obviously.
No, but what I'm saying is there's a lot of variables come into play around promoted listings too, right? Like if I'm paying 50% and now I'm promoting listing, that's dangerous territory. I don't know if you're making enough. You got to be selling a lot to make the spread there. You know what I mean? Let's just say for $100. If you pay $50 and then you sell it for 100, they're taking 13%, but if you promote it, now what are you promoting it at? If you're doing 5 or 10%, like pretty soon you could be
Yeah,
paying 25%. Now you
it,
got shipping. Now you got, does it
yeah, yeah.
sell? Now you got, do you get scammed? Like there's all sorts of variables where
Mm-hmm.
you could be getting hit pretty good on
Mm-hmm.
that. You
Mhm.
know.
It's just interesting how our brains work. We come at this at slightly different angles, and uh,
Well, I'm right,
I
you're
don't
wrong.
say
That's
one.
it. That's all there is to it. No, I don't think there is a wrong. I think it's
I
whatever
think
you're
there is a
comfortable.
wrong,
I think it's whatever you're comfortable with.
right?
I think some things my style will do better. Some things your style will do better. You know, I just think it's at the end of the day, what do you feel comfortable with? And and the sad thing is, and I will say this is a difference between us as well. And my phone was off, and I think I just got a sale here, Carl. We'll check real quick. It's either a message or a sale, and it is a toy soldier,
Everyone drink.
and it sold for $45. Make me holla. $45. Um. So anyway,
God,
uh,
I hear my furnace. I think it's dying. Anyways, there it goes. By the way, anyone never buy a Nest. I just want to put that out there. Never buy a Nest. Okay.
oh,
Sorry, I got distracted by the fact I'm freezing to death down here.
but I think what I was about to say was I think that's the difference too. I think I'm in an area, and I think it's the area, but also I've created some sources, and I can be a little bit picky on what I'm buying my stuff at because I have a lot. I have a lot of inventory, but I also have a lot of options. But I think if certain situations where people don't have all those options, then maybe you are forced to pay a little bit more. You know what I mean? Like maybe you have to pay 50% because you don't get like you don't get the option to to go for cheaper. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
I think it really depends on where you're buying it from too, right? Like if I'm at the auction, live auction, and there's something interesting, unique, and antique, that's going to go for 50% of the value because that's what everyone wants, right? But if I saw that same item at a thrift store, it's going to be a lot cheaper because they price everything the same, right? So, and I get that too. Like I bought stuff where it's like I'm willing to pay up because it's cool, I want it, or it'll be interesting in the booth and grab attention, right? And move quick. So if it moves quick, I'm willing to buy something at 50% and sell it for double because I know it's only going to be there for 1 or 2 weeks at most, right? And the value is high enough that I'm willing to make, pay 50 and make 100, right? But there's not too many items in that category.
So Randy just took us off the road into the cornfield to confirm that we're over 2 hours now. So we'll have to keep going on his.
Yeah.
Um, but at the edge, I could see the same book line. Okay. I gave him a partial avoid negative feedback. Scott, you may have experienced sales decline. Okay, so that's where we went to. But it's interesting to see where the dropping may have affected the algorithm. I think that's what he's saying here too. Carl, is what you were saying. Like it may have had to change over, which is something I never thought of.
Yeah, he's saying something different,
Is
but I
he?
don't know either. So I'm not going to defend my position because actually I have no idea. I'm just guessing what they doing over at eBay. He's saying you have to slowly reduce it or they
Yeah.
punish you.
Okay.
So
Well,
I have
I'll
no idea.
carry on then because I didn't. Okay. I have hear it from I heard it from many sources that you must slowly reduce promo fees or eBay will punish you. Really? Okay, Carl, I agree. Cross stitch kits are a bolo. Also, old pattern books or magazines on cross stitch. Really? Okay, needlepoint and knitting, especially from the 1940s to 70s. People will also buy them just for the fashion and the pictures. My comment was a little long. Not at all, Randy. That's good. My comment was a little long just to extend the length of the show. Okay. So, okay. That's why he got us to do that. Okay. Always enjoy things, Randy.
Well, it worked
It
because
did.
we spent half an hour talking about promoting. So you should see the crap I picked up. I won't even go into it. This is long enough already. I
Yeah.
bought a bad buy.
Dude, there's no,
Do you want some
there's no
pantyhose?
straight
I have some
line.
pantyhose over here.
There's no straight line.
My buddy, I'm showing you a bunch of, like this, I think it's Chinese pantyhose, like cheap crap, And my
Yeah.
buddy's like, "Why the hell did you buy that?" Because he saw me buy it at the auction. I was like, "I don't know. It's just a bag full of pantyhose." I thought, "Why not?" And then I
Yeah.
get it home. I was like, "Why did I buy this?"
You should have said they're so comfortable.
Yeah, I know. Yeah,
But were they worth it?
I don't think so.
Oh no.
I'll
Like
rebuild.
even if
I
you
don't know.
bundled
I'm
a
gonna
few
put
of
them in
them
the
up.
booth for $1 and see what happens. Anyways, I think that's it. Is there anything you wanted to add before we close up here?
No, that's it. I gotta head to the booth. I got a lot of stuff to ship today too. Holy
Oh,
crap! I
good.
think I got 10 items or so to ship. So,
Excellent.
which isn't necessarily an overabundant amount, but it's stuff that it's going to take me time, and I still have to go to the booth. So
I don't want to go out today. It's -25 here. During the Celsius, during the day, that's cold. Like at night, it gets that cold, but during the day,
yeah,
woo,
sandals and shorts for me, man.
-25.
Yeah.
Okay, you do that.
All right, buddy.
Okay, well, thank you everyone for listening.
Yep. Thank you. Thanks for the comments. I know you do too, Carl. We enjoy the comments so much. So thank you everyone for those comments. They make the show. We are here every Friday, both Spotify and YouTube, audio only. That's about all I got. We actually got a little bit of a bump there in subs. So if you're a new listener, hit the subscriber button, tell a friend, and leave a comment.
Awesome.
All right. Have a good week, Carl. Have a good week, everyone. We'll see you next week.
Bye, everyone.